What's the most important thing? That you are not alone anymore, said the ring. I was forged for your family before your family had a name worth the forging, in a place beneath the world where fires never set. Okay, apologies. I am watching something on YouTube on another channel. A Harry Potter what if video. So you'll probably hear that in the background while I'm doing this. When the nights are long and the house is full of enemies, the one voice in all the world that is holy and only on his side. That is what I am, Harry Potter, not a jewel, not a treasure, a keeping, your keeping. And I have found you at last in a garden in the dark, with soil under your nails and stars over your head. And I would not, for all the gold in every vault I have guarded, be anywhere else in the world tonight. Harry looked down at the ring on his thin finger, dark and deep and warm, its worked surface catching the starlight in 100 hidden lines, and the thing that rose up in him then was so large and so unfamiliar that his whole chest could barely hold the shape of it. It had no name he owned yet. It was the pure, uncomplicated wonder of a child who has been told, at the very bottom of the long dark, that the light was real all along and had only been waiting for him to do. So this is my he asked. The ring considered this too, and Harry had the sense hard mode realm that I play with Sassy Athena. Things the way a person misses a taste. I've had many names, he said. The smith who made me carve one into my heart and tongue your mouth is not shaped for it. The lords of your line called me by titles which bored us both. They let the pause stretch dry amused. But I think since you are the one who wed me, and since you asked, that you had better be the one to choose. Choose well. I shall be wearing it a long time. Harry thought. He was good at thinking. He looked at the figure on the ring's face, the hand and the hammer and the anvil and the fierce curled creature beneath, and he looked at the deep dark warmth of the metal, and he remembered the way the tone had rung up through him and told him before any word that he wanted. And because he was 5, the best names are always the simplest, he did not reach for anything grand. He kept coming back, he said, and I touched the stone and kept saying hello. Like you've been waiting to say it for ages and ages. He turned the ring gently on his finger. I'll call you Warden because you're trusted, and the Warden keeps things. Something went through the ring then that Harry felt in his own chest, a deep resonant approval. The note it had rung when it first left the stone, but fuller now, and settled and complete. The sound of it being given at last the name it had been shaped for and had never had. Warden, it said, trying the word, tasting it, and Harry could hear that it was pleased in the particular way that old and dignified things are pleased when a child has managed, without knowing how, to be exactly right. Warden, yes, that will do very well. Better than the smith's name, though you must never tell him I said so. He is proud, and he has been dead 800 years, and very fat and difficult. Gently, your name is Harry Potter. Now. It is cold, and your feet are bare, and there is a stiff bolt and a squealing door between you and your bed, and you will need your wits for both. Bury the shell where you found it, leave nothing for the woman to find. And keep me on your hand where they cannot take me, for I promise you this before anything else I promise. No one at number 4, Privet Drive, is ever going to take anything from you again. Harry buried the empty stone. He set the slate back over him. And he went in across the cold, wet grass with the Warden warm on his finger and the whole enormous knife in his back. And he was, for the first time that anyone who loved him would have recognized, not a servant creeping through a house that hated him, but a son of a 900-year house going quietly home to think. He crossed the kitchen on the outsides of his feet. He reached for the bowl. Everything before it. Yeah, it's starting to rain. Sleep Harry Potter, I would keep the watch. I had kept longer watches over less, and Harry, who had spent 5 years sleeping with a child who must wake at the first peep on the stair, closed his eyes in the cupboard under the stairs and slept for the whole of that short summer night, the deep and dreamless sleep of the guarded. He woke up working on the bacon before it burned. The kitchen at number 4 in the morning was a place of hazards, and Harry knew it through them by long habit. The hot fat, the particular danger of being in the wrong spot when Dudley came thundering down. He stood at the stove turning bacon, the fat spitting and stinging at his wrist, while Aunt Petunia buttered toast and Uncle Vernon read his paper with the sound of a man determined to be displeased by something before 9 o'clock. And on Harry's finger, unseen by any of them, the worthy yet quietly watched them, though not even observed from a private place of the weather. That is the tiresome truth of them, he whispered. Your uncle is a frightened man dressed up in his uniform. He's frightened of anything. You are entirely unfellable, so he shouted. Your aunt is jealous of you. There is no monster here, Harry. Only the old Harry smiled. Besides, you're a child. The safest thing in the house to be cruel to. Remember that, and once you two fight, you will outlast. Harry said nothing, because there was nothing to say aloud, but he turned the bacon and understood. The understanding saddened him louder, silence grimmer, sadness lighter, because now it had a witness. Dudley came down the stairs like a barrel being opened. He was a large child already, with fists on his hands, and the particular cunning of a bully who has never once been made to answer for anything. And he had a game he played most frequently. He'd come past Harry at the stove and drive an elbow or knuckle into him where his parents would not see, so that Harry would flinch and drop something in the blame. He came now wide and grinning, and swung his fist in a low sly arc Harry knew by heart, aimed at the soft place under the ribs. Do nothing, said the warden. Watch. Harry did nothing. He stood still with the fork in his hand, and Dudley's fist came in fast and hard, and then a hand's breadth from Harry's side and suddenly stopped. Not fuss, not block. There was nothing for it to block. It was only that the air where Harry stood for that one instant, the place a fist could not travel, firm and smooth and utterly immovable, Dudley's knuckles met it and skidded off it, and the whole barrel and weight of him carried on where his fist did nothing, so that he stepped past Harry and went up the counter and sat down hard on the kitchen floor with a shriek that rattled the windows. Mom, he tripped me. Harry tripped me. I didn't touch him, said Harry, and this, at least, was perfectly true, and he let it be true on his face, blank and mild, the safest expression in the house. There followed the usual noise, Petunia fussing over Dudley, Vernon's neck going the color of raw ham, great deal of about his work, said Harry stood cool as he had the bacon on the stove. His burnt bacon God damn it. Athena. Oh. Whoa. Yes. And I'm trapped in a chicken pen. We have a chicken pen. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming. Oh, it raises us up higher than the monsters. I got plenty of food. I've been cooking. I got 9 pieces of pork in the smoker for you. If you check in your chest, you will find a shield. And there's 9 pieces of pork in the smoker above the furnace for you. Hey, Piggy. Ooh. Mm. BT dubs, I'm streaming, so if the kiddos want to watch. Piggy! I can get the piggy! Hey, Piggy. Two of our trees grew and gave us beehives. Beanie, I'm having piggy issues here. Piggy at the gate. I need help. Oh, come on. Thank you. I didn't realize that. We need a new gate for this one. And then I need to get some wheat so I can get some sheep or cows. Do I have copper? Mm. I do not have copper. But I have a present for you. Turn around. Pale oak, jungle, birch, oak, spruce, cherry, mangrove, pitcherpod, melon seed, beetroot seed, wheat seed, pumpkin seed, spider eye, and dead zombie. I can get the compost ready. I can get our sifter ready. Oh, well, I have a bucket to get water too. Give me a sec. Let me go run and grab some water. You need to make sure it's a 5x5. 1, 2, 2, 3. So this will be the middle part. So that's one piece of water. So where I put the wood is going to be water. 1, 2, not that one. Yeah, but I need to do it individual bucket first. Are you going to put the dirt to dirt or with a wood between it? So like you know what you're growing in between them. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This one will be where the second water is going to be. No, Thinny. You're short. This is going to be the second water. So, oh wait, I'm crooked. 1, 2, 3. No, I wasn't crooked. Water. So 1, 2, 3. So here will be the last dirt. I'm gonna go get that water. Should I make a well? I'm coming. The first bucket is in the bottom of the well. Yeah, you need that with the skellies, eh? Okay. Prepped. Okay. How much dirt have you got? Never mind. Got a potato. So we can actually split both of these gardens into two halves easily. Yo, welcome to the stream, everyone. Okay. Okay. What's this one here? I was gonna do a separate thing for the watermelons down the side, so that way they can grow out. Not in here, out here. I was gonna dig underneath the wood and put a line of water, and then do pumpkins and watermelons all up the side. I will set this up. It's okay. Is this one beetroot? And this one must be wheat. Okay. Potato. And carrot. Now. Right. River. Okay. There. Okay. We have 4 melon and 4 pumpkin. Okay. That there. This. No. This here. And this one here. The melons and pumpkins will only grow forward. Whoa. Pardon? Beanie, behind you. Do you have any sugar cane? Oh, goody. That section you just saw me putting together? Can I have the sugar cane, please? Up to this one, I'm pretty sure. No. Where did the marker? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, River. Come on, River. understood without being told that he had just walked out from under his mother's protection for the first time since he was a year old, out past the last reach of the thing her death had wrapped him in into the open and unguarded morning. "The line," said the warden, very quiet. "We are past it. How do you feel?" Harry considered the question honestly, the way the warden had taught him to consider everything. He felt lighter and colder and more awake, and under it far down, a thread of something cold that pulled at him and had not been given leave to become anything. "Smaller," he said, "like the roof came off." "That is exactly right," said the warden, and it did not tell him not to feel it, because it never lied to him to make him comfortable. The roof did come off. "Your mother's love, as far as that wall knew. Past it you are only what you are, which is a great deal, but is out in the weather now. So we will not stand in the weather long. There," he turned his attention, gentle, sure, "the play park. Behind the equipment there is a dip of ground the houses cannot see into. Go there, sit on the ground like a child at play. And then be still and let me work, because I am about to do a thing I have not done in a very long time, and I would like to do it well." Harry crossed the tired grass of the play park to the dip behind the climbing frame, out of the sight lines of every window on the road, and he sat down on the cool ground in the shade with his back against the frame's cold pole, an ordinary child resting in an ordinary park, and he laid his right hand flat on the earth, palm down, the ring against the soil, and be still. "Now," said the warden, "be my quiet, Harry. I need all of it." Harry gave it all of it. He emptied himself as he did at the stove when Vernon was shouting, and into the emptiness the warden reached, down through Harry's palm, into the ground, into the deep, and it spoke. It did not speak in any tongue Harry's mouth could have shaped. 9 words came up out of the ring and down into the rock of England. 9 words in the language of the deep forges, hard and bright and old, each one a struck note, and Harry felt them leave him and go down and down and down, past the pipes and the cables and the graves and the bones of the city, past the water and the clay, into the living heat at the bottom of the ring, and he felt them ring there, and he felt, very faint, very far, an answer start back up. The 9 words were sent. All had gone down.
Okay, I am back.
An old goblin lifted his head from a ledger he had not really been reading, and bared his teeth in what a wizard would have mistaken for a threat, and a goblin would have known for the oldest poem upon Spoon Kept. "Something's coming," Harry whispered. He could feel it in the ground under his hand, the vibration climbing, growing, nearer. "Not something," said the warden, and there was a warmth in it now, an old anticipation. "Someone stand up, Harry Potter, and put your back to the frame, and stand the way I taught you to stand, because the deep law is about to open again for the first time in 900 years, and it has come a very long way to do it." The ground had dipped
Boo.
apart. It did not tear, it did not crumble, one level noise, 2 gardens opened there within.
If you're going down there, take
Harry
those.
stood there alone,
And let me grab you the bucket of water so that way if you fall, you can clutch. You guys ain't it. If you fall, make sure to use the water bucket. He wore leather work with metal rings at the shoulders and a short blade at each hip, and a cloak the deep red of the globe below, and he moved up out of the earth with the flat, unbothered confidence of a man walking into his own teachings. At the lip of the opening he stopped and looked at Harry. It was not a kind look, it was an encounter. It was an encounter. Harry felt himself climbing and waving, his wrists, taped glasses, contorted hand flaps. He saw the goblin's double face heaving and seeming alive, playing with a figure very respect. The black eyes flipped the air to no hand for the ring, and there they stopped, and all seemed changed. "Not to respect, not yet," he said with sharp look, more interested in doubt, and the beginning of a very great professional astonishment felt ruthlessly on chin. "I am terrified," the goblin said. His English was exact, but each consonant filed too large. "What word of the clergy And
is
copper.
said?" The warden muttered. "I have come a long way, not out of the forges. I can tell you everything, child, but I do not believe you. I should have told you before I climbed, but I climbed anyway, because a road warden answers the bell whether he believes it or not. That's the law. Now," he tilted his head, and the black eyes glittered, "the ring on your hand. Where did you get it, and whose is it? Not your answer, because I have opened the throat of the earth on the string puller." The heat rasped the
Say
"Say it," said the warden, very low, only to Harry, "the way we practice. The road you're standing hangs on the next thing out of your mouth. Do not thank him for coming. Do not smile. Tell him who you are." Harry stood with his back to the closed hole at the top of the frame, and he looked at the goblin. Come on. Come on, Baba. Come on. Mm. You can make a stone crafting table. It could be. Okay. Where did I put that? Oh, there it is.
gave a shadow man his own curse back and marked his hand and sent him running with a message, the goblin said. He used it once in the hole to tell the iron what to do. He knew it moved the voice. He understood that that means Potter or else too young to be frightened of it yet. But the ring meant the same thing, Harry said. Wait for me to ask. Harry stopped on the stair. Harry stopped too and turned. In the red light, the goblin's black eyes were fixed on him with an expression that gave him a great the last time human child they wrote songs that we still sing and built a hall that still stands. The heir's name is carved over the doorway. He started down again, faster now, taking a stride, an urgency that had never been seen so long. Come quickly. My elder must see this with his own eyes before the council can spoil it, and there are those on the council who will want very much to spoil it. Keep close to me, keep the iron on your hand, and when we reach the deep road, whatever you see on it, do not let go of my cloak. The stair ended, and the deep road began, and Harry forgot for the length of it that he had ever been afraid of anything. The road opened out of the stairwell to the ground, and far wall was a room. Its roof was darkness and had its own red stars. Those stars, Harry understood as his eyes moved the scale of fate, were forged fires, thousands, burning in tears up the sun. Each one of them was like a beautiful bound and set in the air was hot, full of a sound too large to be called a sound, the layered breathing of 1,000 fires, the far ring of 1,000 hammers, and the chill of the stone that through Harry's feet joined the current of his own blood so that his arms were frozen. He too was in the place that had made him. That was all. Except they were too big to be done with any excuse. Charon whistled 2 notes out of the red dark tin car. His goblin was low, black, and worked all over the room like writing, and it ran on no rails Harry could see, but along a vein of pale white lead from the road that stood beside the house for thousands of years. Charon stepped into it and put out one hard hand, and Harry took it, goblin-like, to touch it for the first time. The goblin's grip was dry and strong and exact, true as the carving of a goblin. He went past the blue city, along a vein of light up the dirt field road. A forge star streaked past overhead in the far wall. Harry stood in the dark for another minute. They were going, pushing his hair flat. He looked and looked and did not stop looking, because he had spent 5 years and covered the size of a hospital, the hall, the road,
Come here. Come here. Come see. Come see. I've been a hard little worker. This one is potato. This one is wheat. This one is going to be carrot. I have 14. Thank you. Now, this way. I got sheepies. Where? 3 years zombie, you can suck a douche. He gives nothing. Where's the witch? We need cows. Ooh. I hear nothing. Where did I put my... Oh, that's probably why I hear nothing. Sorry. Yeah. Come back to safety. Ooh. Bina. Yes, Nuna? 1 second. Yes, I did. Give me a sec. Baby. Smokies?
Good boy. Yes, you're being a good boy, aren't you? You're being a good boy.
Oh, good golly God. I knew I should have brought the bed. I knew I should have brought my spare bed with me. I'm coming in. Okay, I'm gonna go fight him. Ah. No need. Should be good. I'm at half a heart. It probably got broken. I need to find a cow. No, I'm dead. Skelly. It's going to take a hot minute before my little map appears, isn't it? Cows. Oh, cow, what? Cows. I got cows. I got the moose. I got the moose. I make it sound like I'm saying something else. Oh, well. Yep. How many did you lose? Sheep. Gate is open. It's interested? Okay. Thank you. What's up? What? I definitely didn't. Do I even want to know? Oh God, what are you bringing home, Teeny? I should be concerned. Here we go. I have repaired our humble home. Oh. Hang on. Hang on. I got it. Jump. Start jumping, thingy. Jump. Yeah, you lost one. It's near me. It's near me. I got it. Jump, 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 jump. No. No, 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 no. Beanie. I have an idea. Got it. No. Come, piggies. Come, piggies. Oh, close the gate. Got them. I'm probably the reason they were by themselves. We've already got one of them outside. Oh, crap, no. Baby. Zombie. I'm okay. Do you want to come outside and help me patch a pile of dirt? Oh, I was going to turn it into a proper path. How much dirt have you got? One shot got the skelly to shoot itself. Dirt. Here we go. That's a semi-decent path. The first watermelon has been harvested. And from that melon, we got 6 melon pieces. Yeah, probably shouldn't do that with all of the dirt. Three water bottles, yes. I got 2. Beanie, I'm hearing scary noises. I heard scary noises. I'm gonna hide for a minute. I need to go AFK. I'm back.
And how do I open up and all that? He asked. I'm not asking for aid. He asked as he had asked how to lift a button, the way a clever child asks the shape of a problem he means to solve. You do not, said the warden.
Join me on an adventure? Want to come with me on another adventure?
Why the choosing had to be a woken keeping on the hand and not merely a potter with a knife. Alone, Potter opening the seal spends himself into it and dies as Henry died. But a Potter with the iron of Bergknapp woken in his hand does not sealed with his blood. He opens it with mine. I will stand between you and the hunger. I will give the seal a Potter's proof to answer your truth, drawn through me, and I will meet her.
You need flint if you're going to upgrade it. Why are berries in the smoker?
It is precisely the keeping I was made for. I have waited 900 years to do it, and I am not going to do it badly now. The bronze went almost gentle, but you must trust me at the door, Harry. When the seal pulls, it will pull hard, and it will feel as though the king itself is pulling. You must not fight it.
There were some berries in the smoker.
Just hold still and hold to one another and walk. Do that. It is the only way to do things in you that I cannot do.
No, berries in the smoker. There were berries. I don't know, but they were. I got rid of them out of it. Tree. Yes, 5 obsidian. Are you looking for flint? I've got 2. How many do you need? 4. I am literally just going to make a flint and steel, and I'm going to take your obsidian and my obsidian. Your obsidian, please. Okay. You got 4. We need 1 more. I have an iron pick. Where's the... So now we need diamond.
The seal took hold of him. Not like the curse in the play part, which had been a blow struck and turned aside. This was a memory. The hunger that had waited 100 years it pulled with the whole start century of its waiting, and Harry felt it reach past his hand and past his wrist into the current of him and begin, without cruelty, without knowing, to drink. It did not want 3 drops. It wanted the river. It wanted every last thing that made him Potter. himself being blown out of him through his command into the asked to do, the hardest thing and the thing he had practiced his whole life without knowing what he practiced for. He held still, and he did not pull back, and he held to the ring, and the warden became the wall. Harry felt it move between him and the hunger, felt the iron on his hand take up the whole terrible weight of the pull and stand in it, felt his own blood stop draining out into the door and pass instead through the ring, metered drop by exact drop, a potter's truth given to the seal in precisely the measure the door required, and not one ember more. The seal pulled for the river, and the warden gave it a thread. The seal roared for all of him, and the warden answered no. The great bell note ringing out under the roar, no, no, this much and no more. You were made to open to a potter, and here is a potter's blood enough to open. And you will not have the child behind it, not while I stand, not while I am the iron of Baragnuck, and this is the keeping I was grown to keep. Harry stood pinned between two of them, the hunger and the wall, and he felt the seal reach again and again past his hand for the river of him. And each time felt the warden take the reaching and turn it and give back only the measured thread, and it went on, and on longer than he could count, the white light screaming along the graven lines, and the note of 100 years, and the bronze voice standing in the middle of it saying no. Then the door gave a sound like the world's oldest lock turning over, and the hunger, fed at last exactly enough and no more, let him go. The pull ceased. The white light along the lines cooled back to red, and then the red drew inward, the weeping stopped, the century balloon closed and sealed clean, and the great door of black iron and older stone shuddered in its frame and swung, slow and enormous and silent, inward into the dark it had kept 100 years, and out of the opening came light. Not the red of the forges, not the cold gold of the counting halls. A steady, living, golden warmth, the color of a heart seen through a window on a winter night from a long way off in the cold. It fell across Harry where he stood spent against the door frame with his hand still raised. It fell across the goblins at the walls, and Durnock made a sound Harry had never heard a goblin make, and the 12 of the right went to their knees. Inside the center of the chamber, the accumulated default of the House of Potter, on a plinth of dark stone, cradled in a keeping of goblin craft so old and so intricate it seemed less made than grown, burned the forge heart. It was a stone the size of a loaf, and it was on fire and was not consumed, and the fire in it was the first fire, the drawn-up living heat of the founding of the world, banked and patient and enormous, and it did not roar and it did not flare. It only burned, steady, endless, warm, a hearth fire kept 1,000 years, and the light of it filled the vault and filled the chamber and filled, Harry understood, standing spent and staring. Something in himself that had been cold his whole life and had never once had a name for the cold. He had no word for what rose in him at the sight of it. Wonder was the nearest, and wonder was not near enough. The forge heart knew him. It had burned alone behind the sealed door for 100 years, its keeping drawn in tight, guarding the deep, and unable to reach the blood it had been woven to cover. Now the door stood open, and the true potter stood in the light of it freely, with the iron of Baragnuck on his hand, and the hearth did what a hearth does when the family it keeps comes home at last out of the cold. It reached for him. Harry felt it come. It was not the hunger of the seal, that mindless pool that would have drunk him dry. It was the opposite of the seal in every way. I'm in a ditch and I'm hearing scary noises. Where the seal had reached to take, the heart reached to take. The seal had been a mouth, the heart was a hand laid open, and the warmth of it came across the chamber and up through the spent and shaking body of the child at the door, and it settled over him, around him, into him. The way warmth settles in someone brought in from a blizzard and set down by right? Fire and told without words that the cold is over now, that they are inside, that they are kept. Neither do I. I'm a mock the hole I went in. Who had learned in a cupboard to fold the cold up small and carry it and never once complain of it. Felt the warmth find that folded cold and open it and take it and fill the place where it had been. And his legs went out from under him. And he sat down hard on the stone floor of his family's vault and lighted the first fire. And he put his hand. You want to know a trick that we do in Australia? If it's a can, you tap on the top of it with your nail. Yeah, no, they're fun. Chuck Mentos in them and they go boom. Yeah. Kids, be careful. Don't do this at home because that is just something your parents will completely not be happy with, especially if you do it on a couch or carpet or a bed. They will lose it. The default of the House of Potter stood around him. The walls of the chamber were shelved in the true wealth of 9 centuries, the wealth the surface world never saw, not the coin that Gringotts changed above, but the keeping of a family. There were books bound in dragonhide with the writing of the deep down their spine. There were files of things Linford the Potter had brewed with his own hands, still bright. There were blades and circlets and a suit of goblin-work mail sized for a grown man that threw the firelight back like water. There were letters, there were portraits, there was a secret paper he was kept in the dark.
No.
And Harry looked at all of it, at his whole inheritance laid open in the light of the fire his great-grandfather had died to keep, and he remembered the goblin lesson, and he did not reach for any of it, and he did not want it out loud. It's a lot, he said instead quietly to the ring. But it's not the things, like the gold in the books. They're not the inheritance, not really. No, said the warden, and there was a deep approval in it, the approval of a teacher whose pupil has walked past the treasure and found the point. The fire is the inheritance. The heart is what your great-grandfather died for, and it is not a jewel, and it is not a hoard. It is a hearth. The hearth is only hard work, but it keeps warm. Kept the deep warm for an age. Kept your line warm for 100 years until a thief shut the door. And now you have opened the door, and the hunger lit, and its keeping widens again to cover what it covered before, which is the deep and the septs and the blood of the House of Potter. The bronze warmed, and Durnock, hearing it, bowed his old head. The account your great-grandfather left bleeding at the store is closing. The House of Potter and the septic fire again, as they were, as a thief unmade, as you had made right at the age of 5 with a hand steadier than mine. Do you understand what you have done today, Harry? You did not claim a treasure. You came down to the bottom of the world, and you lit the fire back up for 2 houses at once. Harry sat in the light of the first fire, warm all the way through, and let it settle, all of it, the door, the wall, and the warmth. And then, because he was 5, enormous things had been met, and there was room now under them for the plain ones, he asked the plain one. Warden, he said, when you were the wall, when the seal was pulling and you stood in it. He turned the ring on his finger gently to be sure it was still there. Did it hurt you? There was a silence, and it was not the silence of a thing deciding whether to lie, because the warden never lied to him. It was the silence of a thing deciding how much of a hard truth a child was ready to carry, and settling, as it always did, on the whole of it told gently. It cost me, it said, not as it would have cost you. I am iron grown in the first fire, and I do not bleed, and I do not die as you would have died. But standing in 100 years of hunger and metering it drop by drop is not a thing done for nothing, Harry, and I am older tonight than I was this morning, and I will need the deep and time to be wholly myself again. The warmth came back, close and certain, and entirely without complaint. And I would do it again this instant, and 100 times over, and I want you to hear me say so plainly, because you have spent 5 years learning that everyone who was meant to keep you found the keeping too costly and set you down. I'm not everyone. The cost was mine to pay, and I paid it gladly, and I would pay it again tomorrow. And the only thing I ask in return is the thing you have already given me, which is to have been at the door at the bottom of the world, the one hand you held. Harry did not have anything to say to that, and did not try to find anything, because some things are answered best by being received. He sat in his family's vault in the light of the first fire with the iron of Baragnuck warm and spent and unbroken on his hand, and for a little while at the bottom of the world the last of the Potters and the ring that had waited 900 years for him were simply, quietly together and warm and done. Something moved on the wall. Harry turned. Among the still portraits in their niches,
Nope,
sleeping
not
in
where I'm
the
going.
things kept in the dark, one had woken. The fire of the relit hearth had reached it, and the man in the frame had opened his eyes, and he was looking at Harry with the particular arrested stillness
I found
of a
one.
portrait that has been asleep a very long time and has woken to a thing it did not expect. He was old in the painted
I already
white,
started
with
putting
long stubborn
lights
jaw
down
and
in
dark
here.
eyes set deep, and he wore the robes of a wizard of 100 years gone, and across his painted knuckles on the right hand sat a ring the painter had troubled to render exactly, a hand, a hammer, an anvil, a creature curled about a shield. The door is open, the portrait said. Its voice was cracked with the century and steady, after all this while.
Zombie.
The door is open, there is a child in the vault. Baragnuck's iron is quiet on his hand instead of shut behind the stone. The dark painted eyes moved and found Durnock at the chamber's edge, and something crossed the old face that 100 years had not worn away. Durnock of the ledgers, you are still here. You watched me seal it. You have waited. I have waited, Henry Potter, said Durnock, and the old goblin's voice was not steady at all. 100 years he still waited. I told you I would keep the account. You told me, the portrait agreed. Goblins keep their accounts. The painted eyes came back to Harry and rested on him and took him in, the thin wrists, the taped spectacles, the ring, the whole of him standing spent and warm in the light of the fire. And who, Henry Potter said gently.
Yeah, I don't plan on swimming through that.
Said the warden, so quiet it was almost nothing. He died at this door. Tell the line who reached the end of it. Harry stepped toward the frame, and he looked up at the great-grandfather who had died at the door he had just opened, and he did not reach for anything but the truth, said the
I am,
words meant
however,
to be said.
determined to dig
My
down.
name is Harry of the House of Potter, he said. James was my father. Fleamont was his. You're his father. You sealed this door so a thief couldn't take the fire, and it cost you everything. The line went thin after you, one and then one and then one, until it got to me. His voice held because he had decided long ago that it always would. I'm the last one. The ring woke to me in a garden. came down and opened your door, and I didn't die doing it because the ring stood in front of me and was the wall. He paused. I wanted you to know it worked, but you did. It kept us 100 years, and I got here. I'm sorry it took so long. The portrait of Henry Potter looked at the child for a long moment, and the stubborn old painted face worked once and mastered itself in exactly the way Harry's own did. The family trick of holding steady through the large things, painted 100 years before the child who had inherited it was born. It took precisely as long as it took, Henry Potter said at last, and you are here and the door is open, and that is the whole of what I hoped for at the end and did not dare believe I would get. Listen to me, Harry of the House of Potter, for I have not much to say in 100 years of not saying it. We are not a great house because we are rich, and we are not a great house because we are clever, though we are both. You're a great house because when the fire is going out of the world, Potter stands in the doorway of it and does not move. Your father did, I did, and you, it seems, came down to the bottom of the world at the age of 5 and stood in a doorway a grown man died in and walked back out. The painted eyes were bright. Keep the fire, child, keep the iron. And when the day comes that someone asks you to step out of a doorway and let the cold in, you remember whose blood is in your hand and you do not move. Won't, said Harry. No, said Henry Potter, looking at him. I don't believe you will, and he inclined his head to the last of his line and settled back into his frame, awake now, watching no more Potter come home to the fire. It did not last. Such things never do. But while it lasted, it was the truest thing that had happened to Harry Potter in the whole of his life, and he knew it while it was happening, which is a rarer gift than the moment itself. Then Carrock at the vault door went rigid. A runner came down the deep, a young goblin at a flat sprint, and reached the chamber gasping, and spoke to Carrock in the tongue of the forges, fast and low, and Harry watched the road warden's hard face take the news and go colder with each word of it. Durnock crossed to them and heard it, his old shoulders squared under a weight Harry had not seen him carry all that long day. Tell me in English, Harry said, getting to his feet. Whatever it is, tell me the whole of it. I've stopped being surprised by hard things today. Durnock turned. In the light of the first fire, his carved face was grave, and he gave Harry the courtesy Harry had earned, which was the truth whole and unsoftened. Alaric Greaves is above, he said, at the Scottish counter of Gringotts, in the light of day, in front of witnesses, with the law in one hand and force in the other, demanding that the nation deliver up to him the child called Harry Potter. The old goblin's mouth was a hard line. His servant reached him this morning with a marked hand and the news that the iron had woken and was here. He did not waste the day. He has spent it well. He has a writ, Harry, sealed by the ministry above, naming a guardian for the missing Potter child, for you were reported gone from your relative's house before noon, and the whole apparatus of the surface has been hunting you since. And Greaves, who sits close to a great deal of power, has arranged that the guardian the writ names is a creature of his own. By the men's own law this hour he has the right to take you, and he has brought wands to the door to be certain the nation does not argue. Horrors, said Carrock sharp. Some hired wands behind them more than some. Durnock said, and here his voice changed. The surface world is watching. The crowd has gathered. Word has gone out along Diagon Alley that Harry Potter, the boy who lived, lost these 5 years, has surfaced in Gringotts with a goblin ring, and the alley is filling, and the newspapers with it. Whatever happens above in the next hour happens in front of the whole of your world, child, and your world has not laid eyes on you since you were a year old, and it is about to. Harry stood in the light of his family's fire and took it in, all of it, the writ and the wands and the crowd and the newspapers, the whole machine of the surface world grinding toward the door to collect him under law. And the warden spoke in the private dark, cold and clear and entirely unhurried, the tactician awake and at its work. He's very clever, it said, and I want you to see how clever, because you will beat a clever man only by seeing him. Greaves cannot break the seal. You've already opened it, and he does not know that yet, and it will not help him if he learns it, because the fire now covers your blood, and he cannot take by force what the hearth keeps. So he has stopped trying to steal the key and started trying to open it lawfully. He does not need the vault if he owns the child who is the vault's key. A writ of guardianship, a compliant creature to hold it, and Harry Potter belongs to the House of Greaves by the men's own law, ring and blood and all, and every clever thing you did today becomes his property along with you. It is a beautiful piece of work. It is also the bronze warmed a mistake because he has made it in public, and a thing done in front of the whole world can be undone in front of the whole world, and there is no court in Britain, wizard or goblin, that outranks the one truth we are about to walk up into the daylight and tell. Which truth, Harry said, that you are not a lost parcel to be assigned a keeper, said the warden. That you are the recognized heir of the Potter hold, proven by the deep right in open goblin court not 2 hours ago, bound to a woken keeping, and standing, as of this hour, under the protection of a forge heart relit by your own hand. The law Greaves is holding was written for an orphan nobody claimed. You are claimed, Harry. You are claimed by the oldest house in Britain and the oldest law under it, and the moment we say so in front of his crowd and his newspapers, his beautiful writ is a paper naming a guardian for a child who already has the deep at his back. He built his whole clever move on the belief that no one was standing behind you. It went quiet and hard and certain. He's about to find out in front of the entire world exactly who is. Durnok was watching Harry's face, and the High Reckoner's runner was waiting, and Carrock had his hand on his blade, and the fire of 9 centuries burned steady at Harry's back. And Harry Potter, 5 years old, spent and warm and unafraid, made the decision as he had made every decision that day, plainly and out loud, and with no apology in it anyway. "Then we go up," he said, not hiding, not sneaked out a back way, up the front into the daylight in front of all of
Hey,
us.
buddy. Where are
He
you?
looked at the forge hold of his house
Hey,
around him,
buddy.
and at the old goblin who had watched his great-grandfather die at
Hello.
this door and had lived to
Hello,
see the
gorgeous birdie.
Graves brought the whole world to Gringotts to watch instead. Fine, let's give the whole world
Hey,
someone else
buddy.
to watch instead. He turned the revolved door, an iron baronet burning
Hey.
warm and ready on his hand, and the light of the first fire went up the deep behind him.
Hello.
Let's go.
No, I don't have any thieves out there.
Durnok caught the High Reckoner's runner by the shoulder and spoke to him fast in the old tongue, and the runner's eyes went wide, and he turned and sprinted back up the deep ahead of him. "The nation will stand at the counters when you come up," said to Harry, keeping pace at his side. "Not to fight the men's oars. We do not spill blood in the light for a wizard's quarrel. Greaves would like nothing better than to paint the nation the aggressor in his newspapers. We will stand as witness. The reckoning will declare an open hall before the crowd in the writ, but the deep right has proven you the heir of the Potter hold. What you do with that declaration is yours." "Here is the whole of it, then," said the warden, laying the move out clean as it walked him upward through the warm dark. "Greaves will read his writ. It is lawful and it is public, and it names a keeper for a lost and unclaimed child. You will not argue the law with him. You are 5. And arguing law with a clever man is how
BRB. And back.
deep and into the Gringotts the wizarding world knew, and the wizarding world was waiting. The high lobby with its long counters and its chandeliers was full, and past the tall bronze doors, out in Diagon Alley, the crowd ran back as far as Harry could see, held at the steps by a line of goblins and a thinner line of wizards in ministry robes, and the noise of it came in through the doors like surf. Word had done its work along the alley all that long afternoon. Harry Potter, the boy who lived, lost these 5 years, had surfaced in the deepest place in Britain, and the whole of a world that had toasted his name in the streets when he was a year old had put down its business and come to look at him. Faces at the doors, faces at the tall windows, a witch near the front with a quill and a roll of parchment already moving, and a stout photographer beside her wrestling a camera that breathed smoke. And every face turned as Harry came up out of the dark into the chandelier light with the road warden at one shoulder and the elder of the deep ledgers at the other, and the whole enormous murmur of them faltered and caught in the belfry and held a moment into silence. They had expected, Harry understood, something. A famous infant grown into a famous child, gilded, cherished, the pampered prince of their bright story. What they got was a thin 5-year-old in Dudley's cast-off clothes and taped spectacles, with soil still under his nails and the marks of a hard day on him, standing very straight, giving nothing away. And the silence that fell was not the silence of adoration. It was the silence of a great many people looking at the boy who lived and beginning in the same instant to do a sum they had never once thought to do. Where has he been, that he comes up out of the ground looking like that? The silence broke into noise, and the noise had a shape. A witch near the front pressed her hand to her mouth. A wizard behind her said too loud, "That can't be him. That's not how he's meant to look," and was hushed, and would not be hushed, because it was exactly how the child looked, and the wrongness of it was traveling through the crowd like cold water finding cracks. The quill by the doors had begun to move again, faster now, and Harry could see the witch's lips shaping the words as she wrote them. Lost, rags, cupboard, though he had said nothing yet about a cupboard, because the crowd had already begun to guess. For 5 years this world had kept a bright and comfortable story about the child it had saved, and and the child had just walked up out of the ground and cracked the story down its middle simply by existing, thin and watchful and dressed in another boy's cast-offs, and there was no putting the story back together now. They had come to adore a legend. They were looking at a survivor, and some of them were beginning, visibly, to be ashamed. "Keep walking," said the warden, low and steady. To the center of the hall where they can all see you, and stop there and let them look and do not fill the silence. The silence is working for us. Every second of it, that crowd is asking the one question Greaves cannot afford them to ask. At the center of the hall, a space had been kept clear, and in it, waiting, stood the men who had come to take him. There were orators, 4 of them, in the deep red of the corps, their faces carefully blank. There was a knot of ministry officials in good robes, with the anxious importance of middling men in a moment grown larger than their brief. And a pace in front of them all at his ease, dressed with a plain and costly perfection that made every other robe in the hall look like it was trying too hard, stood a man Harry had never seen and knew at once, as he had known the gray man in the play part, because a thing on his hand recognized the whole line of them, Alaric Greaves. He was not what Harry had built in the dark. He was not a sneering villain. He was handsome in an unremarkable, well-kept way, perhaps 50, with iron-gray hair and a pleasant, unhurried face, and the stillness Harry had learned to watch for, the stillness of a man entirely certain of the outcome. He held a scroll loosely in one gloved hand. And when Harry came up into the light, Alaric Greaves looked at him and smiled, and it was a warm smile, a kind smile, the smile of a man greeting a long-lost and much-pitied child, and it was the coldest thing in the whole cold hall. "Harry," he said warmly, and his voice carried without effort to the doors and the windows and the quill already moving. "Harry Potter, Merlin be thanked, look at the state of you." He turned just slightly so the crowd could see his concern, the careful catch he had put into his voice. 5 years would have all wondered, and here he comes up out of a bank vault in rags. Someone has a very great deal to answer for. He let that land on the crowd, on the murmur it raised, and Harry watched him spend the pity of 500 strangers as easily as another man spends a coin. "I am glad I came. I am glad I was here to see him safe." "He is good," said the warden, cold and clear, and admiring in the way a swordsman admires a blade that means to kill him. "Watch how he does it. He does not fight the crowd's sympathy for you. He drinks it. He makes your rags his evidence and your suffering his platform, and in a moment he will produce that scroll and offer himself as the answer to a wound he has just finished opening. Every soul in this hall will want a hand in it. Do not speak yet, Harry. Let him open each." "He is about to. My name is Alaric Greaves," the man said to the hall, to the quill, to the world, "and I hold here a writ of guardianship." He raised the scroll, and it unrolled itself with an impudent flourish. "Sealed this afternoon by the Department for the Regulation of Magical Households. Grants the care of the orphan minor Harry James Potter, reported missing from his lawful residence and found to have been grievously neglected, into the keeping of a fit and proper wizard of standing." The pleasant face creased with sorrow, he inclined his head, modest, inevitable. "I did not seek this burden, but I have the means to give the child what he has so plainly been denied. When the department can find no other of suitable standing willing to act on an hour's notice, I cannot in conscience refuse, Harry." He extended one gloved hand, and his smile was gentle, and his eyes were stone. "Come, it's over now. Come with me, and let the grown-ups sort out the rest." The hall held its breath, the oars shivered. Somewhere a woman near the door said aloud, "Oh, the poor lamb." The murmur swelled toward the gloved and waiting hand. "Now," said the warden, not to take his hand, to take the hall. "Do not answer the man, Harry, answer the woman. And remember what beats every clever question ever asked. Answer only what is true, and stop." Harry did not move toward the hand. He stood in the center of the marble hall in his cast-off clothes, with the whole world watching, and he did the thing the warden had drilled into him and covered in the dark, the thing that had beaten Scarnham would beat this, and he lifted his chin and he spoke, in his voice, which he had decided long ago would always be steady, and out clear across the silence, and did not come back apologizing. "Before anybody takes me anywhere," Harry said, "I think the goblins have something to say. They spend all afternoon proving it. You should probably let them say it first." The flicker crossed Alaric Greaves' pleasant face, there and gone, the flicker of a man whose script has taken him under a line. He had come prepared to be resisted by a frightened child, or by the goblins, or by the ministry's timidity. He had not prepared to be told by the child in a reasonable voice to wait his turn. Durham stepped forward. The old goblin came out into the cleared center of the hall, leaning on his black staff, and he was not tall, he was not young, and he did not raise his voice, and the whole marble lot bent toward him to listen, because there is an authority that has nothing to do with size, and Durnock had spent 400 years growing. "I am Durnock," he said, "keeper of the deep ledgers of the goblin nation, and I speak the reckoning of the deep and open hall, which is a thing my people do not do for the pleasure of wizards, and are doing now because the law requires it and truth deserves it. Hear it and set it in your newspapers exactly for the nation what you do." His dry eyes moved across the crowd, the orators, the ministry men, and came to rest on Greaves, and did not blink. This afternoon, the counting was meeting its floor before the full reckoning of the deep. The child called Harry Potter submitted to the deep right, reading what cannot be deceived. nation sets its seal to all three. That the ring upon his hand is the woken keeping of Barrington, the greatest of our smiths, lost to us 100 years in return. That it chose him freely of its own woken will as the last living heir of the house of Potter. And that he is, by the deepest law we keep, the recognized holder of the Potter hold beneath his bank, with every right and every protection that title has carried for 900 years. The murmur of the crowd had changed its character entirely. The quill by the doors was racing. I have not finished, said Durnock, and the hall stilled again. The writ this wizard holds names its ward an orphan of no house, unclaimed, and the state must place because no one else will have it. Read it again, keeper of writs. The staff lifted a fraction toward the ministry nod. There is no unclaimed orphan in this hall. There is the proven heir of the oldest house of Britain, claimed this day by the goblin nation and bound to keeping older than your ministry, and a writ that disposes of a child no one wants cannot dispose of a child the deep has already claimed, any more than a writ selling an empty field can sell a field with a house upon it. The child is not unclaimed. The child is spoken for. The writ is void on its own words. There was a silence, and into it one of the ministry officials, a nervous man with a damp forehead, cleared his throat and said unhappily, the goblin is. The point of goblin recognition is. That is, the writ was drawn on the understanding that the minor was without lawful claimant, and if that understanding is in doubt. He stopped. He looked at his scroll. He looked at Greaves. This may require review, he finished wretchedly, and the crowd heard a man of the ministry back away from Alaric Greaves in open hall and understood it, and the sum they had been quietly adding turned another column. Greaves did not so much as blink. He had been ready for this too. With respect to the deep, he said smoothly, turning the loss into a lever with the ease of long practice, the goblin nation has recognized an heir to a vault. I do not dispute it. Let the child hold his gold and his ring and welcome. But a vault is property, and the person of a British wizarding minor is not property, and it is not the deep's to keep. The guardianship of the child himself, his home, his schooling, his safety in the world above, is a matter of the ministry's law and the ministry's alone, and no recognition of vault rights beneath this floor changes it. The goblins may hold the Potter hold, but cannot hold a British child. He spread his gloved hands to the hall, reasonable, believable. The writ stands as to the person of the child, whatever the deep says of his vault. That is the law. I invite anyone in this hall to show me the clause that unsays it. It was, Harry understood, a good move. The ministry not stirred, even Durnock's staff shifted. The crowd certainly wavered back the other way because it sounded true, and the sounding of true is the whole trait of a clever man. Show him the clause, said the warden. It exists, and I have kept it 900 years, and I have been waiting all afternoon for him to ask. Let me answer this one, Harry. Give me your leave. Answer him, Harry said aloud to the ring. You've got the clause. Show him. And the bronze voice rolled out over the marble hall, and the goblin straightened to it as the crowd went still. Alaric Greaves cites the law, said the warden. It cites it as far as it suits him and stops one clause short, which is the whole art of his family. Hear the clause, keepers of writs. The oldest treaty between the deep and the wizarding realm, sealed before your ministry was a building, provides that where a woken keeping of the deep has claimed an heir, that heir is not a ward of property alone, but a ward in person of the sept that forged the keeping, and the keeping itself stands recognized, the wizard's own law, his guardian in craft, and his chosen. It is written because it has happened twice before, and the citations are on deep ledgers under the hand of the keeper who stands before you. Harry Potter is not an unclaimed child whose person the ministry must place. He is claimed, in person and in property both, by the sept of Barrington and by the woken iron on his hand, under a treaty that outranks the department that drew your writ. Your writ does not stand as to the person of the child, Alaric Greaves. Your writ never stood at all. It merely took until now to say so where the newspapers could hear it. Durnock lifted his staff. The citations are as the iron says, the old goblin said. I will read them into the record myself, twice before and twice upheld. Keeping his guardian in craft. It is the oldest law we share with you, and it is not in doubt. The ministry official looked as though he wanted the floor to open. Greaves said nothing for a moment. In that moment the crowd finished the sum a second time. This time it did not turn back. He is losing the room, said the warden. I want him to see why, because it is a lesson worth more than any spell. He built a beautiful machine, Harry, and it had one flaw, which is the flaw in every moving machine a clever man builds to take what is not his. It requires no one standing behind you. So certain no one was. He is discovering in front of 500 witnesses that the deep is behind you, and it is unmaking his machine one true sentence at a time. There is nothing he can do about it in daylight without becoming in front of the newspapers exactly what the deep is very probably is. Watch him now. He is clever enough to know he has lost the writ. The question is what he does when the lawful door closes. Alaric Greaves stood very still, and a pleasant concern had gone from his face, not into anger, which would have been a gift, but into calculation, cold and quick, and tired without it. A man revising a lifetime's plan on his feet. And it was in that silence, at the worst possible moment for everyone in it, that the air by the tall bronze door Dumbledore stepped out, nothing into the hall, and the crowd's murmur cracked and rose because they knew him, all of them knew him. And here at the crisis of the afternoon had come the one man in Britain whose arrival could pull every eye off the boy who lived. He was old and he was tall, and he wore robes of a deep midnight blue, and his beard and hair were silver and long, and his face, half-moon spectacles catching the chandelier light, was kind and grave and immeasurably tired. Albus Dumbledore looked across the marble hall at the thin child in immaculate clothes, something that was flashed in blue eyes that was watching the whole his high tension, entirely real, and that the old man did not trouble to hide. The look of a person shown a room in his own house he had forgotten he had locked, and under it, never quite still, the ceaseless turning of a mind that was already, even now, even here, recalculating a plan. Harry, Dumbledore said, and his voice was gentle, and it filled the hall without seeming to try. I have been looking for you since noon, and I find you have had quite a day. His eyes moved to the ring and rested there, and Harry saw him understand a great deal in a single glance, more than Greaves had understood all afternoon, and saw him weigh it and set it aside for later, the way a man sets aside a thing too large for the current moment. I think, Dumbledore said, that a great many people in this hall want to decide the future for you this afternoon, and I think you have had enough of that to last a lifetime. Will you let me take you somewhere quiet, away from all of this, where you will be safe and where we can talk? He is the most dangerous person in this hall, said the warden, and it did not say it with fear, it said it with a flame.
I went on an adventure.
Because he means you well, and he certainly knows what your well requires, and he has the power and the standing to give effect to that certainty in a way Greaves, with all his gold, never could. Greaves would own you. Dumbledore would keep you, which is worse to fight, because it wears the face of love, and it is not the least thing that man who genuinely feels it. Hear me, Harry, once you get behind the walls, back under the blood lords, back on the shelf, safe and shaped and waiting. And an hour ago, that was the only protection you had, and his argument was unanswerable. He turned quiet and certain and warm. It is not the only protection.
I've been up.
You lit the other one
I
yourself
have not
with the
been
body of the
down.
world. So you may answer him at last, not as a parcel choosing an owner, but as a potter declining with respect to be kept. Tell him the truth, tell him about the fire. Harry looked up at the old man in the midnight robes, and he did not answer as he had answered Greaves, because Greaves had earned a blade, and this man had earned something harder, which was the truth set kindly into his face. You're Professor Dumbledore, Harry said. You put me with my aunt and uncle when I was a baby. You put the wards on the house so the bad people couldn't get in.
La la la
You said
la la.
without the fact laid down. They worked, nothing forgotten. You gave the house to me. My aunt put me in the cupboard under the stairs, and I slept there for 5 years. I was hungry a lot, and nobody ever came to check. The lady down the road had cats watched me the whole time and told you I was fine. I wasn't fine. You let it sit. All was very silent. The quill by the doors had stopped moving because the witch holding it had forgotten. I don't think you were a bad man. I think you were busy saving everybody, and you decided I was safe. Once I was safe, you stopped looking. But safe isn't the same as all right. I was safe when you covered. I was safe when I was starving both at once for 5 years, and the words can't tell the difference. So no, I don't want to go back behind the walls. I want to look. John, I'm going back to live. Nobody in the Marble Hall said anything at all. 500 wizards who had come to look at the pampered prince of their bright story stood and looked instead at a 5-year-old telling the greatest wizard alive, without cruelty and without a single raised note, exactly what the world's most trusted hands had done with his most famous child. And Harry watched Albus Dumbledore receive it. The receiving was the most honest thing anyone had done in that hall all day. The old man did not defend himself. He did not explain about the prophecy or the war or the terrible protecting a boy whose survival 100 hidden enemies still wanted undone. He stood, took behind the hat and spectacles, his blue eyes brightened and did not look away, and when he spoke his voice had gone quiet enough that the hall tingled to catch it. I have made a great many decisions in a long life, Dumbledore said. I told myself that the largest sacrifices bought the largest goods, and I have been right off the top of the dangerous numbers, arithmetic of the smallest good. You are the smallest number I ever rounded away, Harry, and I did it in a warm voice, telling myself it was love, and you have grown up in a cupboard while I congratulated myself on your safety. He inclined his head slowly, an old king acknowledging a true word from an unexpected mouth. You are owed an apology far larger than a hall like this can hold, and you will have it properly and not as a performance for quill. For now I will say only that you are right, and that a man who is always saving the world should be made, now and then, to look at the one child freezing in the corner of it. Thank you for making me look. Even Greaves, said the warden softly, has just watched Albus Dumbledore concede a point in public to a child. Mark it, Harry. You did that with the truth and nothing else, no spell, no gold, no threat, and it is the most powerful thing you could do all day, and it has cost the one man who might genuinely have given you the will to try. He steps back now. Watch him step back.
Fuck, baby! No, shit. No.
Now he spoke to the hall. Tiredness had a spine.
We both did. You scared me enough that I fell backwards. Let's go. Yes, we are.
I will say, since there, that I've known Harry Potter.
Just gather some dirt before we go.
And I invite the department to consider very carefully how a written king can draw this.
And you did not hear the lava? I was standing on a bridge I'd made. How did you not see the lava? Where the... I went right past. Okay.
Space of 10 minutes in front of the whole world, stood in the center of the marble hall and did the arithmetic one last time, and arrived with the cold finality of a man who has always known this door was behind him, and the only column he had left. How disappointing, he said. He said it quietly, almost to himself, and the pleasantness had gone out of his voice entirely, and what was under it was flat and level and patient and old. The voice Harry understood with the part of him that had spent 5 years reading notes for danger, the true man at last, with the smiling one set down. He was not going to rage. He was not going to argue. He had come to Gringotts prepared for the lawful door to close, because a man does not spend 30 years hunting a thing his grandfather died reaching for without preparing for the hour the law fails him. And now the law failed him in front of 500 witnesses, and Alaric Reeves reached with an unhurried gloved hand into the breast of his perfect robes. Down, said the warden, and its voice was
Okay, come over here.
exactly once before in a play part.
Underneath this dirt block is yours.
Harry, whatever he draws, you do not run, because he wants you to run into the crowd where the shield cannot cover them in the boat. You stand with me, and do not move from the spot. And you tell the goblins now, in the old form I taught you at the door, to ward the doors and clear the innocents back, because Alaric Reeves did not bring Grit to a bank full of witnesses as his only plan. What his family collects, that would give a great deal to be wrong about what is about to come under that road. Harry said, fast and low and steady, get the crowd back, get them out the doors, right now. And Alaric Reeves drew his hand from his robe, and it was not a wand. It was a rod of black iron the length of a man's forearm, and it was red. Harry felt the redness before his eyes had finished making sense of the thing. The note played flat, a deep sickened jangle in the current his family had carried 900 years. The rod was goblet, the running writing was cut along its length, and the seven marks worked into its head. But the writing was cut backward, inverted, every holy line reversed into its own negation. The marks were not the hand, and the hammer and the anvil were their unmaking.
I lost my armor,
The hammer down, the anvil cracked,
I think.
the shield with the shield broken over it. Drank the
I
shade
got my boots back. I got my golden helmet back. I got my leather helmet back. Got my shield. I got my iron pickaxe. I got my copper pickaxe. I got my copper axe.
Durnock's carved face, which had not changed all that long day through his reading and the reckoning in the law, changed now. What came into him was very close to horror. It is real, the old goblin said, and his voice had gone to a whisper the whole silent hall could hear. 100 years we told ourselves it was real. The Reeves family spread to frighten us. It is real. It has made it. It did not resist now. There was no point. Every goblin...
I got all 55 pieces back.
...was the most frightening thing of all.
Oh, yes, I need those. Please. Thank you. Oh, so I actually got everything back. Nah, I lost something. Here we go.
This is the unmaking. It does to keep you away from that child's cover. Cuts the roof. One touch and the woven keeping his dead ring again. One touch and the forge hearts just opened. The stone eyes came peering into the iron in his hand. I would so much rather be an unmaking unmaking is such a waste of 900 years of craft. But I will not leave here.
Did you get your armor back?
This hall away, and I will unmake it.
Okay, I'll make you some new armor. I got okay, I got copper smelting, so I will make you a new armor.
He was fast, faster than his unhurried stillness had caused. He did not lunge at Harry, he lunged at the ring, the black rod driving straight from the iron on Harry's raised hand. The hall dissolved into noise, the crowd breaking through the doors. The words wanted to come up a half second behind the moment. Dumbledore's arm sweeping out with the word already on his lips, Carrock's blades flashing as the road warden threw himself across the floor. All of it too slow. All of it a half second behind the black rod and smooth. Driving for the one thing in the world Harry could not bear to lose. The warden met it. The red shield gleamed as it gleamed in the low park, seamless, chased with the holy writing. The great bell note ringing out, and the unmaking struck it. And this time the note did not
Okay,
sing.
the zombies are smart enough to avoid lava.
Where every force the grey man had thrown had broken on the shield and run off it in dying sparks, the black rod bit in. It touched the curve of red light, and the light did not turn aside. The light where it touched went gray, then silent again. The running writing guttering out along the shield in a spreading stain of rawness. Harry felt it through the ring, felt it in the marrow. Cold, cutting agony that was not his own and was worse than his own. The pain of a 900-year-old thing being read to its root by the one force in all the world made to end it. The hall tried to save him.
Hat. You got a hat.
Dumbledore moved first and fastest, the curse of white fire leaving his wand before any aura had found the word, and it struck Alaric Greaves square between the shoulders, and it should have ended him, and it did not. The unmaking drank it. The black rod pulsed once, white fire guttered and went gray and died against the collector's back, and Greaves did not so much as glance round, because the thing in his hand ate the works of wizards as readily as it ate the works of goblins. And Albus Dumbledore, greatest wizard alive, stood in the marble hall and watched his own power fail against the rod of unmaking for the first time in a life he could never fail. And Harry saw the old man's face and knew that he had understood. In that instant,
You got some boots behind you.
The horror's curses came and did nothing. Carrock and the goblins could not close. The road warden checked his lunge astride from the rod. His goblin still driven against the unmaking would only would unmake its hand and take his arm with it. Carrock knew it and snarled and turned instead to the fleeing crowd, throwing himself into the panic, hauling the slow and the fallen back toward the doors, clearing the hall the one way that mattered, because the shield an inch from Harry's hand could not cover 500 running strangers and a child both. In the space of 3 heartbeats, the full power of the wizarding world had thrown itself at Alaric Greaves and slid off him like rain off slate, and the hall had emptied of everyone who could not help, and what was left in the ringing red and gray light was a collector, a rod that scowling, screaming, and a 5-year-old. It was down to them. It had always, Harry understood, down to them. Harry said the warden, and his voice was not cold, not dry now. His voice was strained to the breaking edge of itself, holding
Beanie, pants.
grinding into the shield an inch from Harry's hand and the great.
Did you get your shield back?
Listen to me. I cannot both shield you and break this. It is made to end me, and it is very good at its work. I am not what I was this morning. I spent myself at the vault door. If I hold the shield, it gets through me and slowly. If I strike it, I must drop the shield, and he has horrors in a broken crowd, a rod that unmakes a touch. I cannot be sure I can strike it. Then screwed up and gutted. I have kept you all your life from ever being alone in a room, and I have kept you today from the start of the war. I will keep you from this if there were a way that's
Yeah.
There is not, and I will not lie to you even now. So I am going to ask you the hardest thing I have ever asked you. I'm going to ask you in a half-second. I need you to read one more time. The cleverest child in Britain. The black rod ground through it. The gray stain reached the inner face of the shield. Alaric Greaves leaned his whole weight into the unmaking, the patient smile of a man watching a life finally give, and the hall was chaos and fleeing and too slow, and Harry Potter stood at the eye of it with his guardian screaming in his hand, and the one thing he could not lose would cut through the branch an inch from his own skin. Tell me, Harry said, whatever it is, tell me and I'll do it. The Forge Heart, said the warden. It's open now, and it covers your blood, and it's the one fire written over and deeper than the thing in his hand. You cannot reach it, spin the pin. But you are Potter blood, and it is yours, and it lit through once already tonight. You stood against the hand. Reach for it, down through the
No need. No need. What else did you lose? Do you want copper sword, copper pickaxe, or iron stuff? I haven't smelted all my iron yet. I still want to try and get more.
There's no more time.
Here's enough copper for a backup pick.
This time do not open it for a thief. Open it for us.
And here's some sticks in case you need them too.
The afternoon with his guardian dying in his hand, and the whole cold weight of the House of Reeves bearing down to take the last one thing he had. He closed his eyes in the screaming light and reached down through the
Let's continue.
Gringotts, down past the vaults and the dragon deeps and the deep road, down to the bottom of the world where a stone the size of a loaf had been the first fire, waiting since he lit it. He took hold of the
La la lava river.
Chapter 7, with the ring shields the fire. Harry had reached for it the way the workman taught him, gently, not grabbing, laying his attention
Where?
against the deep, finding one thread of the pole. But the forge heart was not above. He felt the hand of the child who had lit it closer to the thread of its fire.
Hang on, I might be able to make some in a sec.
Dini! When the first fire came up out of the bottom of the deep and up the vaults and up out of the hardwood floor of Gringotts and into a 5-year-old standing spent in the ruined afternoon. And Harry Potter.
Ah, what's behind me? Spider. Crouch already. Okay, I'm guarding your tombstone. I have food, lots of food. Why didn't you tell me you needed food? Nah.
Poured up through him, and it did not consume him, because a heart does not burn the family it keeps, it warms them. And Harry stood in the heart of the first fire and was warmed all the way through to the marrow, to the soul. The cold folded up years of the cupboard, opening and burning clean away in a heat that had no wishing it anywhere except to keep him. And for one stretched instant, standing in the flood of it, Harry saw his eyes were shut against the metal. He saw the way the ring had let him see the forging in the bowl and counterpoints, a knowing that came in through the blood. He saw the deep entire, all of it at once, the tiered forges burning up the unseen walls, the rivers of molten light, the sealed vault opened at the bottom of the world, and the heart on its plinth itself
stone rods.
And he saw further down still, past the making of the ring and the founding of the nation, to the first hour, the hour the goblins drew the first fire up out of the living heat of the world and did not spend it, did not sell it, kept it, banked it. Made of it a hearth against every cold that was going on. And he understood in the one stretched instant before the fire reached the ring, that he was holding in his 5-year-old hand the oldest kept promise in Britain, older than wands, older than the wizards who thought themselves the eldest thing in it. Promise the deep had made to itself at the beginning that the fire would never go out and never be turned into a weapon, never, ever be refused to a thing that came in from the cold. He was that promise's inheritor. It was the doorway it had been waiting to be poured through. And the fire came up through him, not because he had seized it, but because 100 years ago, a stubborn man had made it a keeping wide enough to the child had been the last.
Oh my.
Through him, up his arm into the ring, the fire reached the shield. The warden had been dying. The unmaking had ground an inch from Harry's hand, the gray stain spreading across the red light, the great old keeping being read to its root and cut, the bronze voice screaming.
Yeah, tell me what you've lost and what you haven't lost. Okay. Check the smoker. And
He had built his life on a single perfect insight that he made him the most dangerous collector alive.
where's your shield?
The same grandfather's genius had carried to the died beside. Discovered the flaw.
Did you just say gone?
Found the bond between a made thing and its thread that tied a forged blade.
Well, he's dead now. No. No.
For a heart is not bad, said the warden, and its voice speaking, fast and unhurried and terrible with joy. That's what your grandfather never understood at the bottom of the deep valley of leaves, and it is what you have carried 3 generations to learn at the top. The forge heart is unbroken. It has no thread to cut. It is not certain. It gives freely of its own woken will. The way the child gave you nothing when you told him to come. The way I've given him everything since a garden in the dark. Your unmaking is made to sever all.
Oh, seriously.
There's only a fire that chooses.
Nope, 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 nope. You're gonna die.
Every reverse letter, every negated mark, every holy line went backwards until it was alive. The first fire touched the red. Fire breathing, rod faster than heart, reversing, breaking the broken shield.
I tried hiding away from the witch and I still died.
Standing the strong hand of battle, black bullet flicked below, head down. To Blaze, Alaric Reeves tried to let go of it, but could not. A collector's whole life was holding on. His hand had closed on the unmaking the way it had closed on everything he had ever coveted. And now the thing he had spent 3 generations making would not release him, because it was no longer his. It was being reclaimed, letter by burning letter, by the deep it had been stolen from him, and took his certainty with it as it went. The rod turned from black to red to white that lit the whole cavern of the marble hall. And the stolen craftsman Corvinus Greaves had begun, and Alaric Greaves had finished came apart in his grip, not shattered, not exploded, but unmade in the truest sense of the word.
Hi, Thena.
Work dissolving back into the pure deep metal it had carved from a lifetime ago.
How's your health?
Metal pouring away out of his hand, down through the marble, down the long dark. Down to the forge heart at the bottom of the world that gathered its own back.
I need you to distract the witch for a second.
In the space of 3 breaths, Alaric Greaves went from holding the most dangerous artifact in Britain to holding nothing at all, a wisp of cooling ash on an empty glove. Hope's work returned to the fire it had been robbed from, undone by the one law his family had never once been able to understand, that you cannot take a thing whose whole nature is to give.
No!
And the fire having remade what was
No!
100 years ago to do. White, it came up out of Harry and out of King, and it did not strike out with a
No!
not chase the demon.
Yes.
White gold light blew from the child.
Why are you hiding? You could Oh, I was down to 0. Okay.
Albus Dumbledore standing spent and staring with his useless wand in his hand, all of them. Gathered in an instant under the dome of the first fire, and the warmth of it fell on the just and the unjust alike, on the ones who had come to adore Harry. That was the whole of what it did. It kept them. Filled the marble hall with the light of the inside of the blessing. It said to every frightened person on earth, in a language older than fear, you are inside now and you are covered. Nothing that wishes you harm can reach you here. And Harry stood at the heart of it with the fire flowing through him, and understood with the part of him that was 5 and the part of him that was 7.
She went off to the right of where I was.
The whole hall full of flawed and frightened people, deep beneath and injured proud people who had kept faith in his name for 9 centuries. The first fire had come up to the last of the potters to cover everything at once, because that was what a potter was for, and it always had been, and now the whole world was standing inside the proof of it. Harry turned his head slowly and said,
I'm trying to figure out why the frick.
He saw the witch who had said, "Oh," poor lamb pressed against the pillar with both hands over the mouth, with gold under. He saw the wretched ministry official who had backed away from the Greaves an hour ago, and who was weeping now openly without seeming to know it. He saw the 4 Aurors with their wands still half raised, and nothing left to point them at, standing in the warmth like men who had walked out of a blizzard into a lit room. He saw Carrock on one knee, with the fallen witch he had hauled from the crowd still gathered against his chest, and the road warden was looking not at the danger, but up at the dome of first fire, with an expression on his hard face that Harry had no name for, and would carry the rest of his life. He saw old Durnock with his staff and his 100 years, lifting above, his carved cheeks wet. And he saw Albus Dumbledore, the greatest wizard alive, standing spent and empty-handed in the light of a fire he could not have made and could not have stopped, looking at the child at the center of it.
I hear the witch. Where are you?
Faced the particular stillness of a person watching something he had spent a long life believing impossible turn out, after all, to be real. They had come, half of them, to take him. They had come to arrange him, to spend him, to own him, to feed him, to let him down.
You found diamonds. I have a witch trying to kill me.
The ones who did not, because the fire did not check a person's account before it warmed them, and neither, Harry understood, standing at the heart of it, did he. That was the whole of what his family had ever been, not the loudest, nor the richest, nor the most feared. Ones who stood in the doorway when the fire was going out and held it open and let everyone in behind them, friend and stranger and enemy alike, because a doorway held for only the deserving is not a doorway at all. It is a gate, and the Potters had never once in 900 years been gated. Alaric Reeves, alone
What?
in the center of it with ash on his glove and his certainty gone, understood that he had lost and reached the last of his ruin with his wand. He got it halfway up. The curse never came. He stood inside the dome of the first fire, inside the keeping, and the keeping did not permit him to harm the child.
You fell from a high place.
The play park had permitted a hole in his boots. His blind arm slowed and stopped him when he obeyed him, held not by force, but by the single and total refusal of a heart.
Oh, please come and get your stuff back.
And Alaric Reeves,
And then,
his legs were to ash, the whole watching world.
oh yeah, there's like
At last,
no way you're getting that back.
enough, said the warden, and the singing gold gentled, and the terrible joy in the great voice folded down to something quieter and less final. It is finished, Alaric Reeves. Your grandfather fled the deep with the mark of the thief in his house, and you have brought that mark back to the deep and added your own to it in the light of day in front of the whole of the world, and there is no smile left in your family's account to spend. You came to unmake a keeping, and you have unmade only yourself. Horrors of the ministry, keepers of the deep. He is inside the fire's keeping with the rest of you, which means he cannot harm the child, and it also means he cannot flee. Take him. He is yours to try, above and below both, in the ledgers of 100 years.
No, I got one of the diamonds.
They took Alaric Reeves by both arms, and he did not resist, because there was nothing left in him to resist with. And as they turned him toward the doors, Durnock stepped into his path and looked up at him with 400 years of patience and 100 years of a debt come due. My people told ourselves your family's weapon was a rumor, the old goblin said, and we were wrong, and it cost us a night of terror to learn it. But here the reckoning of Alaric Reeves, and carry it with you wherever they cage you. The account your grandfather opened at a vault door is closed this hour, and it is closed in your favor, and it is closed by the hand of the child your family spent 3 generations trying to own. You reached for the Potter fire twice, your house, across 100 years. Both times it burned your hand. Take that down to whatever dark you end in, and understand it if you can. You never hope to win. Not against
I might be able to try and make it down to your stuff.
It did not snap out. It receded the way a tide goes, unhurried, having done its work, drawing back down out of the dome and out of the hall and out of Harry, back down the long dark to the heart at the bottom of the world, and as it went it left the marble hall warmer than it had found it, and quieter and changed.
You will find a little cage. Okay, Dini.
And the great singing note sank back into the rock until it was a far breathing of the forges again, patient, endless, kept. And Harry Potter lowered his right hand, which he had held up since
Stay on the path, and you can get your stuff.
And found that he was still standing and still himself and warm, and that the iron of Baragnak on his finger was whole. He was so tired he could feel it in his teeth. He sat down on the marble floor not gracefully, 5-year-old at the end of the longest day anyone had ever had, and he looked at the ring, and the ring looked back at him the only way it could, which was to be warm and to be there, and to have kept every single promise it had ever made him. You're all right, Harry said. He meant it as a question. It came out as something surer. I'm all right, said the warden. The dryness had come back into it, and under the dryness a depth Harry had not heard before. The sound of a 900-year-old thing that had just been remade in the fire that first grew it. Better than all right.
Okay.
First fire, Harry, which no keeping has done since the day I was 4.
Okay.
I had never been tonight than I was this morning. Which is the thing I did not expect to say again in this age of the world.
Yeah, I see that.
The warmth returned and settled close and certain. You are alive. Count the dollars and the balances, and I find I do not want to look at any other account for a little while. You held still. The ball came here with the whole weight of it coming down on you. You held still, and you reached, and you did the thing I asked, and I have said to you. I have counseled lords, and I have counseled kings. I have never once been prouder of any of them than I am this minute, a 5-year-old sitting on a bank of horse too tired to stand. Well done, Harry. Around them the hearts went back to itself. The crowd had stopped fleeing and moving outdoors, and they were silent, staring a world that had come to look at a legend and had watched instead the last of the Potters stand in the middle of a night game and the oars. The ministry may have finally, too late, a great many urgent things crossed the
Okay,
marble
you can't.
floor slowly,
Yep.
leaning a little on a stair rail he did not truly need, came Albus Dumbledore. He stopped a few feet from where Harry sat, did not reach out. He lowered himself with the care of the very old until he was sitting on the marble floor as well, an old man in midnight robes folding down to the height of a tired child, so that they looked at each other level, eye to eye in the emptying hall. I owe you an apology, Dumbledore said, and I have decided not to make it, because an apology owed to you is not a thing to be spent for a watching crowd. You have it quite enough with your problems and your suffering from an audience today. So I will make it to you properly and quietly over as many afternoons as it takes. I will not ask you to accept it. But there is one thing I must ask you now. Wait, don't ask it now, because I keep saying this is the only concept of trust, and I think you have earned the right to it. The blue eyes were steady behind the half-moon spectacles. You are not going back to the cupboard. I want you to hear me say those words.
Yep.
Whatever else is decided by me or by the ministry or by the dean, you are not going back behind those walls.
You just got one of my diamonds.
That much I can promise you in this hall tonight. Let me know. Not a fortress with a strong people inside it, but a home. Harry looked at the old man on the floor above. He was a trap kept in place where the kindness turned into a leash, and the warden, warm on his hand, was quiet, letting him look, as it had
There's
taught
more
him
over there.
faces to survive, and was not going to leave this one for him. I've got questions first, Harry said. The ring said it's my guardian and craft, and the law and their law both. Is that true, or is that just
Squids!
entirely true, Dumbledore said, and I would not have believed it this morning.
Wait, where are the diamonds? Oh, down there.
Your hand has legal standing as your guardian for the oldest tree on the keep. No one, Harry, may place you or move you or shelve you or spend you without its consent, and it will die before it gives its consent to your home. Everyone who matters now knows it. You are the most protected child in Britain, because of me, but because of what you open a garden and what you live at the bottom of the world. Then here's how it works, Harry said, and his voice was steady, because he had decided long ago it always would be, and it did not waver even now at the end of everything. The bank floor, the greatest wizard alive sitting at his level. Help me find a home, Dumbledore said. But the ring comes with him always, and the ring will stay.
We.
He says a place is wrong, you can go there, and nobody ever decides anything about it without you.
Yeah, I just had the same situation. Crouch. Take it.
He inclined his head the second time that day. The greatest wizard alive bowed his head to a child, and this time it was nothing vocal, nothing strategic. There was only respect. You are going to be a former
And where?
man, Harry Potter. I find I'm very glad I am going to see you, and rather relieved that you appear on the whole to be kind. There was one thing left that Harry needed to ask. He asked it while they
You
were still
blew up
sitting
my
on the floor,
torch.
because he had learned that the hard questions were best asked plainly and got over with. And, he said, covered what happens.
Apparently not.
He watched the old man weigh the question. Dumbledore tried
What?
whether the child wanted vengeance or reassurance or something else, and Harry let him look because he was not entirely sure of the answer himself. Answer him true, said the wizard, and know your own heart while you do it, because he's not.
Great minds think alike. Dead end.
At the end of a day like this one. They will answer for it, Dumbledore said carefully. What was done to you is a crime, Harry, by the law of both our worlds, and it will not be swept under a rug because the people who did it are ordinary muggles who told themselves they were only being strict. There will be a reckoning for them, a lawful one, and you will not have to be part of it unless you choose to be. He paused. But I will not pretend to know what you want that reckoning to be, and I will not decide it for you, because deciding things for you is the whole of what went wrong the last time. So I am asking, what do you want for the people who put you in that cupboard? Harry thought about it. He thought about it honestly, the way the warden had taught him to think about everything, turning over and looking for the true shape under the question. He felt he wanted it, but he did not want what he might have expected. He did not want Roman's raw ham face. He found at the bottom of it, but he mostly did not want to think.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you too. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm happy now.
He said slowly, out loud. To some people, I spent 5 years watching them decide who deserved things and who didn't, and I don't want to turn in somebody who does that. I just want it written down true that I was there.
This way is lava.
Was wrong. And then I want to never live there again, and I already have that. I looked up. So make them admit it.
Lava.
And I'm done with them. That's what I want. There was a
It's
side
this
of
way.
him who was burning, standing in the part with the staff who broke it, and his cracked old voice had approval in it. The flat hard approval of a goblin, which is worth more than a wizard's praise because it is given so rarely. There,
More
the
lava.
goblin said, is a reckoning kept clean.
More lava.
The licenses do harm. The account gets settled. It does not get avenged until
That's
the
it. Lava tunnel down the bottom there too.
the iron chose well. I have said it before tonight. I will say it as often as it stays true, which I begin to suspect will be a very long time. Carrot
Oh.
came then out of the emptying hall and stood before Harry. And the road
Hi, Scaly. It was just staring at me. Not shooting at me, just staring at me. So I was just like, hi, Scaly. Whoop.
I did not
Oh,
believe you
hey.
would play part, Carrot said without preamble, because goblins do not preface. I climbed the stair to prove my elder wrong and go back to my forge. I have been at your shoulder from the Surrey Park to the bottom of the world back to this hall, and I have watched you face a shadow man and a dream keeper and a sealed door made to drink you, and a rod.
BRB.
Harry reached out and closed his hand around the offered hilt. It was warm from the goblin's grip and heavier than he expected. He looked up into Carrock's black eyes and said his name the way the warden had taught him to say his own, with no apology or anywhere. Carrock, the third thief, Harry said. I'd be glad of a road warden. Thank you for climbing the stair. I did not climb it for you, Carrock said, taking his blade back and sheathing it. The corner of his hard mouth moved a fraction, which from a goblin was very near me. I climbed it for the law, but I stayed with you, Potter, and there is a difference, and you're clever enough to know it. He stepped back to his place, satisfied, and the road warden, whose road at last bore
The
forth,
carrot is still too tough, and the potato's not done.
you have earned the sitting down a bit, and I have earned the
But I'm
standing.
using a slow cooker too.
There is nothing.
I'm using the
They did
slow
not let
cooker on
Harry use
mine
their guts that night as a
because it
matter
has
of
a set
ordinary
time.
business, because nothing about the
I
day
don't think I got it on early.
and because the thief does not close the account of that size with a handshake and a receipt. When Dumbledore had risen and the oars had lifted that prison,
I know.
last had moved back out to the diagonal alley already thick with the details of the story that would run 10 years, written by morning.
Okay.
The goblins cleared
Anthony, where'd you go?
and the High Reckoner came down.
Oh, you're hanging out near me.
His robe of gold thread, and Durnock stood at his side, and Carrock stood at Durnock's, and they brought Harry. Too tired to walk far and carried the last of the way by a road warden who would have bitten anyone who remarked on it, to the raised floor of glued stone where the reckoning was kept. There they set him down, and the whole of the deep look of despair came crawling through the hall behind, tier on tier, hundreds of black eyes in the lamp.
You didn't lose. You almost lost it. You didn't lose it.
The nation had. Harry, swinging with exhaustion, understood that he was watching a thing no living wizard had ever been permitted to see. 100 years ago, said the High Reckoner, the House of Potter stood surety for the Goblin Nation in its worst winter, and we gave that house a hold in the deep and a share of our fire, and we called it, in the old tongue, the closest word we have to what your kind means by friend, though it means a great deal more to us and costs a great deal more to say. 100 years ago, a thief broke that bond at a vault door, and a Potter died sealing what the thief would have stolen, and the fire drew back, and the friendship used the vault of the family that had earned it, and the nation grieved it and
Way
closed
back
it
up.
and did not expect to open it again. His cold eyes moved to Harry and rested.
Oh, torches.
Deep down was the same wet astonishment Harry had first seen on Durnock's face at a door in the deep road. This day the ledger is open. This day the last of that house came down into the deep and opened what was sealed and lit the fire back up.
You can see stairs.
Men stood in this hall and spent
Because I trapped a zombie behind this one, remember?
shield the whole of it, adjusting the engine.
Whoosh! Right.
Men came to take him and asked nothing back. There is no word in the wizard's tongue for what that earns a person in the reckoning of the deep. There is a word in ours. He lifted his glittering hand.
It was.
Harry of the House of Potter, the nation names you what it named your great-grandfather, not heir, not client. Let the human child ring chose that we are all roads, friend of the deep. The fire is yours, and the roads are yours, and the ledgers are
Athene,
open to you. And while there's a forge,
I found diamonds.
there's a hearth in it that keeps your name. It is the oldest thing we have to give, and we give it gladly, and we will not give it twice in your lifetime, because we will not need to. Once given to a potter, it does not go back into the dark. The hall did the thing it had done once before, the thing goblins do instead of applause. The whole reckoning of the deep struck the flat of one hand once against the stone. A single gasp confession that Harry felt to the floor and the walls.
A nasty ass skeleton and a couple of creepers.
Setting its seal, and then silence, and then quietly Durnock came and stood before him, leaning on a staff, his carved old face gone soft in a way Harry suspected it had not gone in a very long time.
Wait.
I watched your great-grandfather die at that door, the old goblin said, and I have carried the account of it 100 years, and I did not think I would live to close it. I have closed it, and closed it. And I will tell you a thing that is not in the history of the House of Potter, and is only mine to say. He paused, and the shrewdness came back into his eyes, warm now, the shrewdness of an old creature who has decided to be fond and will not be argued out of it. When Carrock came up out of the deep road a month ago and reported that Baragnuck's iron had woken the starved human infant, the council laughed at him. I did not laugh, but I did not, the oldest and most careful heart, entirely believe. I believed the iron had woken. I did not believe a child could be worth what the iron had chosen. He inclined his head low, the bow he had given Harry at the door in the deep road, the bow a goblin gives to almost nothing in the world. I was wrong. It is not a thing I say often, and you may treasure it. The iron chose well. It chose
Beanie, I'm gonna need help.
Go and grow up, child, and come back to the deep when you're grown. I'm very grateful to teach you. I intend to be alive to do it out of pure stubbornness, because I find I would like to see how you turn out. Thank you, Durnock, Harry said, and then goblin law, kept true. 100 years is a long time. The deep ledgers, who did not weep and did not pity and held both in contempt, turned his carved old face away for a moment before he answered. And when he answered, his cracked voice was entirely steady, and he did not seem to mind tonight.
Haha. You floofed up. You done goofed. You done goofed. You done goofed. Goof. Goof. Done goofed. Ding, ding. Oh, a double vein.
Dumbledore was waiting at the foot of the steps, and there was a plan for the night. A safe house and a warm bed and a proper meal. The old man promised. No cupboard and no lock, and no one would ever again decide anything about Harry without Harry. It would all begin tomorrow, the finding of the home and the terms, and the patient undoing of 5 years in the dark. Tonight there was only a tired child on the steps of the oldest bank in Britain. In the evening, the ring. Harry stopped at the top of the steps and looked out over the alley, the crooked roofs and the coming-on lamps and the whole hidden world he had not known existed a month ago and now belonged to him. And he turned the ring gently on his finger to be sure it was still there. Warden, he said quietly, so only
yeah.
here. Is it always going to be like today? All of it. The running and the courts and the fire and the man with the rod.
Where is you?
No, said the warden, and it said it gently.
Oh, you found diamonds.
Most of it is going to be far quieter than today, Harry, and a great deal of it is going to be dull, because the truth of a good life is that the enormous days are few.
I'm here if you need to drop them.
And the ordinary ones are where you will actually live. There will be years of them. Lessons and friends you have not met, and a school in the north with a great many staircases, and little troubles that will feel enormous because you are young, and enormous troubles that will feel mild.
Okay, I got a platform down here, so even if you do miss one.
For the dull ones too, which are the ones that matter most, which no one ever remembers to guard a child through. The warmth turned close and soaked the hand at the back of a tired head.
Drop the next one.
That is the truest thing I can tell you at the end of the longest.
You should have got it. I got the XP though. Thank you.
The point was that you would never gain whether anyone in the whole world was on your side. That's what I was made for. Not the shield in the play park, nor the wall at the vault, nor the hearth in the hall. Those were only the loud ways of saying the quiet thing, and the quiet thing is this: you are not alone, Harry Potter. You have not been alone since a stone turned up under your fork in a garden, and you are not going to be alone again, not for the whole of your long life, and that is a promise older than the fire and stronger than it, and I will keep it every single day, the loud ones and the dull ones both, until the very last of them. Harry stood at the top of the steps in the violet evening with the whole of the wizard's
I got 9.
laid out crooked and glowing before him, and the last light of his family warm and awake and unbroken upon his hand. And he was 5 years old, and he was tired to the marrow, and he was, for the first time that he could remember, and for every day that was going to come after, kept. Good, he said. Then let's go home, Warden, wherever that turns out to be. He came down the steps toward the old man and the rest of his life. I've never had one. I want to see what it's like.
And I will put the...
Hey,
I almost did it. No.
Get ready for an amazing tale. What if Harry was summoned by Gringotts at age 5 and discovered he was the Lord Potterblack, Slytherin, Merlin, Pendragon? Smash that like button and subscribe for more. Here we go. Chapter 1. The
Yes.
service letter arrived on a Tuesday. Not by hour. Not slipped through a mail slot or tucked under a door. It arrived the way only the oldest magic in Britain knew how to arrive. It simply appeared, resting on the floor of the cupboard under the stairs,
Kids.
propped against the small boy's knee while he slept, as though it had always been there and was merely waiting for him to notice. Harry noticed it at 4 in the morning, when Aunt Petunia's alarm went off 2 rooms away and the sound startled him awake the way it always did.
Zombie villagers!
Tied against the wall before he was even fully conscious. He lay still for a moment, listening to the familiar sounds of the house settling around him.
Here we go.
Uncle Vernon snoring.
Did you just hear that?
Dudley rolling over. The creak of Petunia's feet on the floorboards as she padded toward the bathroom. Then he looked down at his knee, and there was the letter. It wasn't made of paper. That was the first thing he
Dina, you're not going up. You're going down. Beanie. Oh, iron.
Like touching the bark of a very old tree. The seal on the front was pressed in gold, and even in the nearby
What?
Christmas cover, it caught what little light crept under the door and poured back. A stylized G with a crossed sword and a key beneath it. His name was written underneath in handwriting that seemed to shift slightly as he tilted the envelope, not in a frightening way, more like watching water become its own level. Harry James Potter. The cover. Number 4, River Drive, Sir. He could read better than Dudley even though he was a year younger and had never been allowed to say so. He'd figured out letters from the back of cereal boxes and the spines of Petunia's garden hose, piecing it together quietly because doing things too well in front of the Dursleys had a way of producing consequences. He opened the letter.
This way.
Inside was dense and full of words he didn't know, but he read through it slowly and carefully the way he did everything, and by the time he reached the bottom his hands were very still and his breathing had gone quiet and thoughtful. He understood maybe half of it. Words like inheritance and bloodline and irrefutable claims sat in the text like stones he had to step around. But 3 things came through with perfect clarity. His parents had left him something.
Yep. Lift
A
away.
place called Gringotts had it. They wanted him to come. Harry folded the letter back into the envelope. He lay back on his thick mattress and stared at the bottom
Over
of
here.
the stairs above his head, tracing the familiar grain of the wood down the bottom. He was 5 years old. He had never been to London. He had 10 pence in a crack in the baseboard that Dudley hadn't found yet, saved from dropped coins he'd spotted in car parks and pavements. He did not know how buses worked, exactly, though he'd watched them from windows. He went back to sleep, and while he slept he made a plan. 3 days later, on a Friday morning, the
Yeah, I got a
Dursleys
stack
left
of
for Dudley's
iron.
football thing at 8 o'clock sharp. They always did on Fridays. Mrs. Fig was supposed to come watch Harry. She always did on Fridays too, but Mrs. Fig had a cold. Harry knew this because he'd heard Petunia on the phone with her the night before, voice sharp with irritation, saying, "Well, if you're sure, Arabella, yes, I suppose he can manage an hour or 2, and Harry had lain in his cupboard thinking that an hour or 2 was all he'd need. He was packed before the car left the drive. Packed was perhaps generous. He had a plastic bag from under the sink, and inside it he had the letter. 3 biscuits from the back of the tin Petunia hadn't noticed were missing, his 10 pence, and a jumper that was Dudley's old one and therefore 3 sizes too long.
Yeah, I think I got myself.
He put it on anyway because mornings were cold.
I did. I got myself lost.
Then he opened the cupboard, walked to the kitchen, and stepped outside.
Yep.
The street was quiet.
I went right past my wooden doors. I saw you going up and I'm just like, did I just go past my wooden doors? I did.
He stood there alone for 11 minutes. He counted, and then
Yeah, I know.
Decker came around the corner and put his hand up the way he'd seen adults do, and it stopped. The driver looked at him. "You alone, son?" "My nan's meeting me in the station," Harry said. He'd thought about this part. He kept his voice flat and certain. The driver looked at him for another moment. Harry looked back, steady, the way
Let's
he
go.
put his feet only made things Just a fact. Victoria, the driver said. Yes, please. That's 120. Harry looked at his 10 pence.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on,
Then
come on,
he
come on.
looked up at the driver. Something happened. He didn't know what it was or how it worked, only that sometimes when things were very important, things went the way he needed them to. A strange, warm sort of pressure moved through him, like a held breath releasing. The driver sat down. Harry sat down. The bus moved. He watched Surrey give way to the M25 margins and then to London slowly assembling itself around him. More buildings, more people, different air, and he pressed his nose against the glass and felt something he didn't have a word for yet. Not excitement.
You hopping off for the night?
Something quieter and more permanent than excitement.
Night, night,
Like
Feeny.
recognizing a place you've never been. He'd never been to London in his life.
I think you can.
He was 5 years old, and he walked through Victoria's
The online? Yeah, there is a section you can. Hang on. No, I don't want to go out of Minecraft. I want to go to the front. One block online. One block online play. I wasn't on it for very long.
He knew this somehow, had known it when he'd read the letter for the 4th time on the bus, turning over the address provided at the bottom. Gringotts Bank.
I think I have too, but that's about it.
House, Charing Cross Road. He'd stared at that for a while and understood, in the way that he understood most things, that this required a different kind of looking. He found Charing Cross Road. He walked along it slowly, looking at every building, and when he got to the a bookshop and a record store,
Loading, 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 loading.
That was the thing. There was something in his head that
So you should be able to go recruitment, I think. Discord GGIN PvP. Okay, I'm going to check that out.
He pushed through it like opening a door he wasn't supposed to know about. The leaky cauldron materialized. Grimy windows. A sign with a pot on it. A man in a robe going in. Harry followed him in. The inside was dim and smelled of wood smoke and something fermented. A barman was wiping glasses. Maybe 8 or 9 people sat at various tables, all of them wearing clothes that sat
Please do it again.
like they were used to different shapes of fabric entirely. 2 of them glanced at Harry and then looked away. One old woman in a hat kept looking. Harry didn't stop. He'd spotted the back door. He walked through the pub with complete assurance, pushed through the back door.
Joining you.
He stood there looking at the wall. The letter had said,
Link.
"Tap the 3rd brick from the left of the rubbish bin, 2 up." He counted. He tapped. For a moment nothing happened and he wondered if his fingers hadn't pressed hard enough, and then the bricks began to move, folding back and out like a flower opening in very fast motion, and Diagon Alley bloomed in front of him. He stood in the archway for a long moment and just looked. It was like someone had taken everything that existed in the world and compressed it into a street, shops stacked and probably on top of each other, windows full of things that moved and gleamed and occasionally stared back. People in robes and pointed hats moving in every direction, all sitting on posts in broad daylight, a cart being pushed by something that was 4 feet tall and looked like it had strong opinions. He could smell hot sugar and something smoky and something green and growing and something else that had no earthly analog. He breathed it in. Something in his chest, in the very center of him, quietly and without drama, settled. He walked toward Gringotts. The bank was white marble and enormous. The steps alone were taller than he was, and he climbed them carefully, one hand on the railing that was made for someone else's height entirely. 2 guards flanked the doors, not human, he registered that immediately. They were shorter than most adults, with long, clever fingers wrapped around tall spears, and their faces were structured differently than human faces, features sharp and precise, eyes dark and containing something he didn't have words for yet. One of them looked down at him. Harry looked back up. "I have an appointment," he said. He reached into his plastic bag and produced the letter, holding it up. It says my name on it. The guard took the letter with 2 fingers and read it. His expression didn't change, but his eyes moved to Harry once more and something in them shifted. Not surprise, exactly. More like the look of someone confirming a fact they had been told was true but had not fully believed until this
Hang on.
moment. Wait here, the goblin said, and disappeared inside. He was back in under a minute. Come. Harry walked into Gringotts. The entrance hall was cavernous in the most literal sense. The ceiling was high enough that the upper
I
reaches
don't think it'll let me join your specific island. There's a specific thing you need to go through to be able to recruit to your island.
dozens of goblins were writing, stamping,
Let's see.
and generally conducting
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out exactly what it's doing. It's depositing me on my island.
not to the main counter's but to a door to the side. Through it, down a corridor that felt older than the building above it. The walls were actual stone here, carved and unfinished in a way the polished main hall wasn't. And then into an office where a goblin sat behind a desk that was covered, absolutely covered, in parchment and ledgers and 3 inkwells and a candle that was burning a color Harry didn't have a name for. The goblin looked up. He was old, or at least his face had the quality of something that had sat for a very long time, with deep-set eyes the color of old copper coins and an expression like a magistrate who had heard every possible excuse and believed almost none of them. Sit, the goblin said. Harry sat. His feet didn't reach the floor, so he let them hang. He put his plastic bag on his knees and waited. The goblin looked at him for a long moment. Then he looked at the letter, which the guard had placed on the desk. Then he looked back at Harry. Do you know what this is? He said. He tapped the letter. A summons, Harry said. It says Gringotts Bank is notifying me that I have an inheritance. From my parents. From more than your parents. The goblin's voice was precise and dry, like old paper. I am Director Ragnarok. I oversee...
Open Browse Islands and apply to join.
When the blood ward on a vault of antiquity activates,
Right click on the globe and go down to Browse Islands.
I have been attempting to notify you for nearly 2 years. Harry thought about this. The owls didn't come, he said slowly. No. They did not. Ragnarok's expression remained neutral.
Okay, so hang on. Let me start a share screen for you.
The boards on your place of residence have been modified.
Start share screen.
Not by you. Not by anyone. Male exclusion charms of considerable
So you should have this globe thing.
My owls returned empty.
Right click on it
In the end, I had to resort to blood
and go down to Browse Islands.
He looked at Harry steadily. It went directly to your hand. I found it when I woke up, Harry agreed. Yes. You would have. Ragnarok folded his hands on the desk. They were long-fingered and still. I'm going to explain some things to you, Mr. Potter. Some of it will use words you don't know. Tell me when you need something explained. Do not nod along if you haven't understood.
How you going, Feeny? Did you get there?
Harry appreciated this enormously. All right, he said. You are the heir, Ragnar said, to the Potter line. This you likely knew, or suspected.
Ah, there we
What
go.
you did not know, what has been very deliberately kept from you, is that the Potter line is not the whole of what you've inherited. You are also, through bloodlines that our records trace back without interruption, the
Yep,
heir
so
to the House of Black,
right
the House
click,
of Slytherin, the lineage of
plus,
Merlin, and the lineage of Pendragon.
if it doesn't go through the
Harry
first.
was quiet for a moment. That's a lot, he said.
Oh, so
Yes, Ragnar said,
once you're on the
without
store,
any
you can move
particular
across the
emphasis on the
island.
word, just letting it sit there like a stone. How? Harry asked. I'm not related to all of those people. Am I? Magic doesn't follow the same inheritance rules as Muggle property law, Ragnar said. Some of these are direct blood connections. Some are due to what we call dormancy rights. When a lineage reaches its last possible inheritor and no other claim exists, the magic binds to the closest compatible bloodline. In your case, the magical compatibility is. He paused. He picked up one of his ledgers, looked at something, and set it down. Unprecedented is not a word I use lightly. I have been director of ancient accounts for 143 years. I have never seen a compatibility index of this number. Harry waited.
How?
Most wizards register between 11 and 35 on our index, Ragnar said. Your father registered a 42, which was considered exceptional. Your mother registered a 57, which was the highest I had personally
Yes,
processed.
Nana?
He looked at Harry. Your index is 194. The number sat in the air between them. What does that mean? Harry asked. It means, Ragnar said, very precisely, that every piece of old magic in Britain that has been looking for a
Okay,
home
so
has found
right
one.
click
In you.
plus
He
right
leaned
click.
forward slightly. It also means that you should have been brought here immediately after your parents' deaths. That you were not in.
Oh, so you really need to force the issue with trying to get into the Browse Islands. Just keep doing it until it opens. And then glide over them and look for my island. Well, you need to open your island for new members then, and then set an application.
Sirius Black as your legal guardian. He bypassed Gringotts entirely. He paused. Our institution was not notified of James Potter's death for 11 days. The standard is 24 hours. When we finally were notified, we were informed that all guardianship decisions had already been made. Harry thought about Sirius Black, a name he'd never heard before in his life, a name he'd apparently been meant to grow up with. He thought about the cupboard under the stairs and the mail exclusion charms and the 2 years of undelivered letters. I'd like to do the inheritance thing, Harry said. The ritual. Whatever it is. Inheritance right, Ragnar said. Yes. That's why you're here. He stood up from his desk. He was shorter than Harry standing than he looked sitting down, which Harry found interesting rather than strange. Follow me. This will take several hours. You'll be required to give blood, a single blood, minor, on your palm. You'll be asked to hold a series of objects that correspond to each lineage. The magic will do the rest. Does it hurt? Harry asked. Not anxiously, more the way you'd ask about a medical procedure. Relevant information. Some of it, Ragnar said. A great deal less than what you've been living through, I expect. He said it simply, not as sympathy, just as fact. Harry found he liked that. He slid off the chair, picked up his plastic bag, and followed the director of ancient accounts deeper into Gringotts. The ritual chamber was far below the main bank, accessible by a minecart that descended at a speed that made Harry's stomach lurch pleasantly, and then by a door that required Ragnar to press his palm against it and speak something in a language Harry didn't recognize. The room beyond was circular, the walls covered in carvings that looked decorative. He could see they were writing, rows and rows of it in multiple scripts, some of which seemed to rearrange slightly when he looked at them sideways. In the center was a stone basin, roughly hip height on an adult and therefore chest height on Harry, filled with water that wasn't water. It was too still, too dark, and it reflected things that weren't in the room. 3 other goblins were present, each standing at different points around the basin. They wore formal attire, longer robes than the bank goblins above, with various chains and medals that Harry suspected had specific meaning he didn't yet know. The blood first, Ragnar said. He produced a small blade from somewhere, obsidian, black and thin, like a sliver of shadow. Your dominant hand. Palm. Tell me when you're ready. Harry held out his right hand without hesitation. Ragnar made the cut. It was sharper than he expected, not painful exactly, more a bright, clean sensation, and then warmth as the blood welled up. Ragnar guided his hand over the basin and let 3 drops fall into the dark water. The water didn't splash. The drops hit the surface and the surface absorbed them, and then the water began to move, a slow circular current, and the carvings on the walls lit up. one section first, then another, spreading outward like fire following a trail of oil. Potter, said one of the watching goblins, reading from the wall. Active. Primary bloodline. Confirmed. The water moved faster. Black, said the second goblin. There was a pause. Dormancy activated. Air confirmed. Slytherin, said the third, and his voice carried something different in it. Not surprise, but wait. Lineage and clause invoked. Blood compatibility confirmed. Ragnar was watching the basin with an expression Harry couldn't fully read. The water was moving very fast now, and it had started to glow, not brightly, but with a deep, sourceless luminescence, like light coming from the stone bottom. Then the room went very quiet. Then every carving on the wall lit at once. The light wasn't painful. It was warm and vast, and it came from everywhere at once, and Harry felt it physically, a wave that started in his palm where he'd been cut and moved up his arm and into his chest and then through him entirely, like something submerged in him finally surfacing. Not uncomfortable. The opposite of uncomfortable. Like the deep breath after a long time without one. He heard Ragnar say something in the goblin tongue, sharp, imperative, and heard the three watching goblins respond in kind. He didn't need to understand the language to understand the tone. Then the light faded, and the water stilled, and Harry became aware that he was gripping the rim of the basin with both hands and his cut palm had completely stopped bleeding and had, in fact, closed. Merlin, Ragnar said. His voice was absolutely level. Lineage. Confirmed. He looked at Harry. And Pendragon. He looked at the basin. Also confirmed. The room was quiet. 5, said one of the other goblins. 5, Ragnar agreed. Has this happened before? Harry asked. He was feeling something enormous move through him, slow and warm, like a tide coming in, not frightening, more like standing in the ocean and feeling the water shift your weight without threatening to drown you. A pressure. A presence. Not in the history of this institution, Ragnar said. Not in any record I have access to. He was still looking at Harry with that copper-eyed steadiness. You are the Lord Potter Black Slytherin, with dormancy claims activated. You are the heir of Merlin. You are the heir of Pendragon. He paused. You are, legally and magically, one of the most significant figures in the British magical world. I live in a cupboard, Harry said. There was a beat of silence. Not anymore, Ragnar said. They went back up. Not to the office but to a different room, larger, better furnished, with chairs that were sized for humans as well as goblins, and a long table, and tea that appeared without anyone appearing to have made it. Harry drank 2 cups. He was hungry but didn't say so, and then a plate of sandwiches appeared alongside the tea, and he ate 4 of them with the focused efficiency of someone who had learned not to leave food on a plate. Ragnar let him eat before he spoke. The practical matters, he said, once Harry had set his cup down. First, your current living situation is illegal under 3 separate sections of the Wizarding Guardianship Act of 1814. The use of male exclusion charms on an underage heir without the heir's consent or the consent of a court-appointed guardian is a criminal offense under Gringotts Charter, which supersedes ministry law in financial and inheritance matters. He laid a document on the table. I am filing this today. The ministry will receive notice within 48 hours. What will that do? Harry asked. It will force them to acknowledge that the guardianship of Harry Potter was illegally arranged. It will not, by itself, remove you from your current situation, but it begins the process. Ragnar's long fingers moved to a second document. The more immediate avenue is your godfather. Sirius Black, Harry said. The name felt strange in his mouth, like a word in a language he was just beginning to learn. He is currently in Azkaban, Ragnar said. He was in prison without trial. Harry looked at him. Without trial, he said. Yes. That's, Harry stopped. He turned this over. That's not legal. No, Ragnar said. It is not. He was imprisoned under emergency wartime provisions that technically expired 14 months after he was incarcerated. No one pursued the matter. The ministry found it convenient not to pursue the matter. He paused. You, as Lord of the ancient and most noble House of Black, have the right to petition the Weisengerlaw for a full overview of any case involving a black family member in prison without trial. That petition, filed under your full titles, cannot legally be ignored. All right, Harry said. Let's do that too. Ragnar looked at him. 5 years old, he was thinking something. Harry could see it in the way his expression shifted by a fraction. You understand this will attract significant attention, he said. Dumbledore will become aware that you've been here. The ministry will become aware. Certain members of the Weisengerlaw will not be pleased. Good, Harry said. He said it simply, no heat in it. If they arranged all of this on purpose, I want them to know it didn't work. There was a pause. Something moved across Ragnar's face. Not a smile, not quite, but the kind of expression a person makes when something they suspected turns out to be true. You are a great deal more composed than I expected, he said. I had 3 days on the bus to think about it, Harry said. You have been 5 years old for approximately 8 months, Ragnar said. I know. Harry looked at his hands on the table, small hands, one with the faint clean line of the heel cut across the palm. I don't feel like I'm 5. He said it not as a complaint or a boast, just as an observation. I think I never did, really. Ragnar was quiet for a moment. The bloodlines, he said. They're active now. All 5. The memories and knowledge stored in lineage magic don't transfer like actual memories. You won't suddenly know everything your ancestors knew. But their instincts become yours. Their magical affinities. The patterns that made them exceptional. He paused. You may find that you know how to do things you were never taught. Harry thought about the bus driver blinking. About the slow warmth in his chest that he'd always had and never had a word for. I think I already did some of that, he said. I know, Ragnar said. The bus driver on the A205 will have no memory of collecting a fare from a 5-year-old traveling alone. Harry looked at him. We have eyes in London, Ragnar said without particular apology. We've been watching for you since the blood call parchment went out. You were not in danger, but we were prepared to intervene if necessary. His expression was something between dry and something else. You didn't need us to. Harry thought about that for a moment. He thought about walking through Diagon Alley alone, about finding the leaky cauldron by pushing through the mental pressure that tried to make him not see it. About the way the ritual had felt, the tide coming in, the something in him that had been waiting. What happens now, he said. Today, I mean. Where do I go? You are a lord of 5 houses, Ragnar said. You have properties in 11 locations across Britain. You have financial holdings that, combined across all 5 vaults, amount to. He consulted his ledger. A number that would make the Minister for Magic leap if he knew it. He set the ledger down. You may go wherever you choose. Can I stay here? Harry said. Tonight, I mean. Just, while you sort things. Before it all starts. Ragnar looked at him for a moment. Gringotts is not a hotel, he said. I know, Harry said. Another pause. There are rooms, Ragnar said. Below the bank. Used occasionally for clients conducting extended inheritance processes. They are not luxurious. I lived in a cupboard, Harry said. Then they will seem exceptional. Ragnar stood up. Tomorrow morning, I will begin filing the legal documents. I will also arrange for a wardrobe appropriate to your station. You are dressed in what appears to be a flour sack with sleeves. Harry looked down at Dudley's jumper. It's waterproof, he said. It is an offense, Ragnar said, and walked toward the door. You'll want to see the vaults before you sleep. It seems only appropriate. Harry slid off his chair and followed. He still had his plastic bag with 2 biscuits in it. He took one out and ate it as he walked, because he'd never been anything other than practical. The corridor beyond the door curved downward again, and the sounds of the bank above faded to a hum. It was just Harry and Ragnar walking deeper into the earth, while somewhere above London the wizarding world had no idea that everything was about to change. The vault doors, when they finally reached them, 5 adjacent chambers, each sealed with ancient metal that had been waiting a very long time, opened the moment Harry's hand touched the stone
Blocks of
beside them.
gold. Wow.
No key,
Are you doing the lucky block stuff at the moment?
just the simple recognition of blood that had finally come home. He stood in the first vault, the Potter vault, and looked at what had been kept for him. Not at the gold, though there was gold, more than he could imagine. At the other things. Bookshelves carved from some dark wood. A case of wands in various states of preservation. A mirror that showed him not his reflection but something older.
Hoppers?
A man
8
with
of them?
black hair and glasses standing next to a woman with eyes exactly like Harry's own, both of them looking at him with an expression that wasn't possible for a mirror to contain and yet did anyway. His throat did something. He breathed through it. He moved on to the second vault. The third. The fourth. The fifth. By the time he was done, the candle in Ragnar's hand had burned down significantly and Harry had barely said a word, just walked and looked and let the scale of it settle into him. In the 5th vault, older than all the others, the Pendragon vault, carved walls that looked like the inside of a hillside, there was a sword. It wasn't on a display stand. It wasn't behind glass. It was resting against the far wall, point down on the stone floor, and it looked like it had been set there by someone who expected to come back for it. Harry walked over and crouched down to look at it. The blade was silver white, without a mark or rust anywhere. The hilt was gold and simple, less ornate than he'd expected, with a ruby at the pommel the color of old fire. I wouldn't touch that, Ragnar said. Harry looked at it for a long moment. He could feel it, a kind of slow hum in the air around it, something that wasn't sound. I know, he said. Not yet. He stood up and walked back to the vault entrance, and Ragnar led him back up through the stone corridors to the guest rooms, which were small and clean and had actual beds in them, with sheets, and Harry sat on the edge of the mattress in the dark for a while after the goblin left, not sleeping, just sitting. Sirius Black was in Azkaban. Had been for 4 years. Was supposed to be his guardian. His parents had left him 5 vaults and a sword and a mirror that showed them looking at him with that expression. Someone put mail exclusion charms on his aunt's house and hidden his letters for nearly 2 years and let him keep living in a cupboard when there were 11 properties with his name on them. He lay back on the pillow. The sheets smelled clean. He thought, tomorrow then. And slept like he hadn't slept in years, deep and still and unbothered, while 2 floors above him, Ragnar worked by candlelight on a stack of legal documents that were going to make a very great number of people extremely uncomfortable. The wizarding world, which had spent 5 years congratulating itself on keeping the boy who lived safe and hidden and manageable, would have its first indication tomorrow morning that it had made a rather significant miscalculation. But that was tomorrow. Tonight, Harry Potter, Lord Potterblack Slytherin, heir of Merlin, heir of Pendragon, slept in a real bed for the first time in his life. He slept without dreaming. He didn't need to. Chapter 2, The Weight of Names. Harry woke up before anyone came to get him. He lay still for a moment the way he always did, cataloging the sounds, checking the quality of the air, running the rapid assessment that 5 years of privet drive had made automatic. Then he remembered where he was and what had happened yesterday, and something in his chest loosened in a way it almost never did, and he got up. The room had a small bathroom off it, with actual hot water, and Harry stood under the shower for much longer than he needed to because he could. When he came back out there were clothes on the chair beside the bed, not anything grand, just clean trousers and a shirt and a jumper that were sized to an actual 5-year-old, which meant they fit him properly for what felt like the first time in his life. He put them on and sat on the edge of the bed and ate his last biscuit and waited. Ragnar came at 7 sharp. You're already already dressed, Ragnar said, looking at him. I've been up since 5, Harry said. The director of ancient accounts looked at him with that copper-eyed steadiness and said nothing further about it. Come. There is breakfast, and then we have a significant amount of ground to cover. The breakfast was in a small room off the corridor, and it was enormous. Eggs and toast and thick-cut bacon and something Harry didn't recognize that turned out to be a goblin grain dish that tasted like porridge with ambition. Harry ate steadily and without conversation, which Ragnar appeared to find perfectly acceptable, as he was reading documents over his own tea with the same focused silence. When Harry set down his fork, Ragnar set down his documents. Today has several components, he said. First, we finished the inheritance process. Yesterday's ritual confirmed your bloodlines and activated your legal claims, but there are documents to sign and certain items that must formally transfer to your possession. Second, I have petitioned the ministry this morning regarding your guardianship situation. We will discuss the likely response. He paused. Third, and most immediately, there is a second ritual. Harry looked up from his tea. Different from yesterday? Yesterday's ritual was verification, Ragnar said. It established what you are. Today's is acceptance. You must formally accept each title and everything that comes with it. The legal rights, the Wisengamot seats, the financial authority, the family magics. He looked at Harry steadily. You don't have to. Each title can be held in abeyance until you come of age. Some advisors in my position would recommend that. But you're not recommending that, Harry said. No, Ragnar said. Because I have read the legal situation carefully. Your godfather is in prison. Your guardian is illegal. The vault communications were blocked deliberately. Someone has been managing your affairs without authority for 5 years, and every day that your titles sit in abeyance is another day they have room to maneuver. He set his teacup down. You are 5 years old and this is a significant feat. But I think you already know that leaving it where it is will not protect you from it. Harry thought about the mail exclusion charms. About 2 years of letters that were turned back. Let's do the ritual, he said. The acceptance chamber was different from the verification room. It was smaller, warmer, and the walls were plain stone without carvings, just a circular room with a low plinth in the center, on which sat 5 objects arranged in a ring: a simple ring of gold for pottery, a black signet ring with a crest for black, a silver ring worked into the shape of a serpent ringing its own tail for slithering, a small sphere of clear glass containing what appeared to be a tiny sustained lightning bolt for a clothesline, and a flat piece of stone the size of Harry's palm. For Pendragon, carved with a single word in Old Latin. Rex. Ragnar had 2 goblins with him this time, witnesses, he explained. The process was simple. Harry would pick up each object in turn, speak the acceptance phrase that Ragnar would provide, and if the bloodline recognized the claim, the object would be removed. And if it doesn't recognize it, Harry said. It will, Ragnar said. We established that yesterday. The ritual doesn't lie. He paused. But theoretically, an unrecognized claim would result in the object rejecting the touch, usually manifesting as significant pain. Right, Harry said. He stepped up to the plinth. The Potter ring first. Yes. Always the primary bloodline first. Harry looked at the gold ring. It was plain, a band of warm yellow gold, a small stylized P on the face, nothing remained. His father's ring. His grandfather's ring. The line of it going back further than he could currently trace. He picked it up. The warmth was immediate, not like the tidal feeling from yesterday, but more specific, more intimate, like a hand placed over his own. It settled onto the correct finger of his right hand without him consciously putting it there, adjusting to his size in the way that old magic did, and a sound moved through the room that was less heard than felt, a low resonant note like a bell struck far away. Lord Potter, Ragnar said. Do you accept the headship, rulings, responsibilities, and legacy of the ancient and most noble house of Potter? I do, Harry said. The ring warmed once, pulsed, and was still. He moved to the right signal. This one was heavier, and when he picked it up it felt different, less like warmth and more like standing in a wind, the magic of it less settled, more searching, like something that had been uncertain of its future for a long time and was now cautiously committing. The crest was a family coat of arms, 2 stars and a hand in Latin beneath it he didn't know yet. Lord Black, Ragnarok said. Do you accept the headship, holdings, responsibilities, and legacy of the ancient and most noble House of Black? I do. The ring moved to the middle finger of his right hand. The searching feeling stabilized. The Slytherin ring was cold. He'd half expected that, and it was, not unpleasant cold, just the cold of deep water, a temperature that had nothing aggressive in it, just a depth that went a long way down. When it settled onto his right index finger, Harry felt something move in him, a new register in the warmth that had been building, something old and direct and precise, like a language coming into focus. Lord Slytherin, Ragnarok said, and his voice was very careful and very neutral. Do you accept the headship, holdings, responsibilities, and legacy of the ancient and most noble House of Slytherin? Harry looked at the ring on his finger. He thought about the name, about what the world thought of it, what it meant in the context of the war that had destroyed his family. He thought about the fact that Slytherin had been a wizard, a person, a man who built something that lasted 1,000 years, and that whatever had been done with his name was not the name's fault. I do, Harry said clearly. The glass sphere with the miniature lightning bolt was warm the way sunlight was warm, bright and directional and alive. When Harry curled his fingers around it, it dissolved into his skin like it was returning to a place it knew, and he felt something shift in his mind, not a rush of knowledge, Ragnarok clear that it wouldn't work like that, but a kind of clarity, an opening, like a window in a room that was slightly too dark. Heir of Merlin, Ragnarok said, and there was something different in his voice here, something older, something that sounded like a formula repeated across centuries. Do you accept the gift, the burden, the craft, and the continuation of the line? I do. The stone from the plinth was the last one. Rex. Harry looked at it for a moment before picking it up, because he understood, in the way that the open window in his mind allowed him to understand, that this one was different. Not in magnitude necessarily, but in quality. The others were lineages, bloodlines, houses. This was something bigger. The word Rex didn't mean king the way a title meant king. It meant something closer to the one who holds the center when the center wants to fall. He picked it up. It didn't dissolve or resize or settle on a finger. It stayed a piece of stone in his hand, and the feeling it gave him was not warmth or cold or searching or sunlight. It was the ocean again, the tide he'd felt yesterday, but this time he was fully upright in it and his feet were on the bottom and the water moved around him and did not move him. Heir of Pendragon, Ragnarok said, quietly. Do you accept the legacy, the duty, and the debt of the line? I do, Harry said. The stone went warm in his palm, and then it simply wasn't there anymore. Not dissolved exactly. Absorbed. He had the distinct impression it had always been part of him and had merely been kept in an exterior form for safekeeping. The room was completely silent. Then all 3 goblins present spoke at once, in their own language, and the sound of it rang off the stone walls in overlapping harmonics. Well, Ragnarok said, after a moment. That's done. Harry looked down at his right hand. 3 rings, each different, each quiet now, no glowing, no magic display, just metal and stone on small fingers. His left hand felt the absence of the Merlin sphere and the Pendragon stone differently, not empty, but complete. Like a stomach after a proper meal. I need to learn to read Latin, Harry said. Among many other things, Ragnarok said. He looked at Harry with what might have been respect, in the way that a very old cliff face might look at a river that had found exactly the right course through rock. The paperwork. The paperwork took 3 hours.
Okay, I will be back. I just need to check on dinner. How long have we been streaming? 3 hours. You know what? I might call it a night, try and get some more work done on this, and then show you what I got done tomorrow. So stay safe, take care, and I'll catch you all on the next stream. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And a big shout out to all those people who subbed after yesterday's stream. Thank you, thank you.